To be honest, too, what you're saying with the rooms thing is why I like trying to find doing comedy in places you're not supposed to be doing comedy. Because like you're saying, it's a muscle. And like in Cavo Bar, I've done it twice. When I'm there, I can get in my... Because I don't like get in my head. Usually I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. But then sometimes I'm like, yo, this room is so big.
The silence
so empty. Yeah. I'm just like, am I actually dead? Like there are times I'm like, have I died and been put...
Pause that because Aidan's calling. He's supposed to be on the pod. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh shit, Aidan call him?
Aidan.
Is he calling me?
I was just doing something done and then I just checked my phone. I was like, oh shoot, I forgot. If I is that a problem if I head over now?
If you listen to this and you don't realize AI uses water, go look it up.
It's like cooling off the...
Yeah, to cool it off. Yeah. It's so much fucking water because it's so much energy.
Hot, yeah.
It's entropy.
That
it's
is
like,
kind of
bro,
counterintuitive. It's like, yeah.
Especially if you go and ask ChatGPT, should I get the blue or the red Pokemon game? Then it's like, what are you doing? Like, just ask a clerk. You don't need to ask ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But some people are like, I mean, which one is better aesthetically? And it gives you this long thing. And you're like, you just killed 3 lakes to ask that question.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was like philosophically opposed to AI. I didn't type anything into ChatGPT until this year.
What should put in?
You know, I started using it to help me write code because that's what I do for a living.
Oh,
and I realized like other
different.
But then you're like,
shit.
well, this shit's getting fucking better every day. So now it's like, you know, I just can go on there probably more than Google or as much as Google lately. But you know, Google is AI too. So it's like, it's not like I wasn't just giving all my thoughts to, you know.
Google's AI is objectively worse.
Yeah, it really is. The AI overview at the top, it tries to be. They're trying to like catch up because I think they're probably feeling like, oh, you know, a bunch of links that you have to click on, that's tedious. Whereas like a conversational chatbot, it is an easier way to get.
Especially ChatGPT's like feels like it's getting to high school. It's like, oh, you're a sophomore in high school, and like Google's just like, you're a 3rd grader masquerading as a college student. Like,
yeah,
you don't know what the fuck. I think somebody asked the question about big dogs. And it was like, made this thing up of like, you're going to make the mega bully pit. Like, it's just something where I'm like, is this Pokemon? Like, where's this logic coming from? But I like that. Like, I've used ChatGPT twice, so I'm not going to be a hypocrite.
Really? I mean, that's amazing, though.
I didn't use it on my, I don't have an account.
That's like Bill Clinton being like, I didn't inhale.
Yeah, I didn't inhale. I didn't inhale. But I
that
can't
counts
be a
as
hypocrite.
not using it. That counts as not using it.
But hypocrisy, I still used it, so.
You tried it. And then you didn't. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, I think
I was a douchebag.
You're the 1%. Anybody else is like, I'm going to try it 1 or 2 times, and then a few years later, every single thought you have. I mean, that's the weird part is that like every thought you have,
it keeps up with everything,
and it knows other. You know, it's like it knows other dudes that are like demographically like me, so like I'm likely to. It's just like, and it's just getting so smart so fast. You know, like it's this compounding thing.
It's momentum. It's like I remember. ChatGPT in AI is very similar to like mushroom theory, like the rhizome theory within like I think of like Deleuze and Guattari's kind of like Thousand Plateaus. It's like a lot of that element of it all is hyper connected, and it just like no matter what information you put into it, it sorts it. So it all becomes like it's like if you're fighting a Mazo from Justice League. It's like, yeah, you hit him with that blast one time, he's just going to make that blast second. Yeah. And then he would use it differently than you would. Yeah. And it's like, that's kind of the cool thing. That's the cool thing about it. Like, I love it again
because I don't know the character.
Oh, so Mazo in, it's kind of like Ultron, but Mazo is in Justice League, and he's a character who's an android who can do anything. He can adapt to anything. Mm-hmm. So when he fights Justice League, it's always a problem because Superman will hit him, and he's like, oh, I got Superman strength. Yeah. And like, I think Toy Man's made him a few times. I'm getting dorky as shit. I like comics. I'm sorry,
we embrace that here.
But it's like a Mazo just keeps evolving, and it kind of at some point is alluded to, it becomes like godlike because it's just like, yeah, you're fighting against gods every day. You got to get better. It's like if you're playing against LeBron every day, I hope you can beat a pedestrian. Yeah. Like you're beyond most people. Yeah. But it's like it just keeps doing that over and over. But yeah, I think of that a lot with
like every time you fight it, it's like new. It's like learned all the stuff from last time. So yeah.
And it's better. It'll like get more specific. So like it's like with ChatGPT, if you put something in, it'll be like, "Hello there, Ryan," and it'll be like, "Are you here to ask this question?"
Yep. It's like, oh yeah, because you got the other. I've been like kind of brainstorming some tattoo ideas, and it remembers like all stuff from earlier. It's like since you already have and I'm like, fuck, it's all so far ahead of me. But I think where I'm at with it now is like I'm not. I'm not going to stop it, But maybe that's how people rationalize every bad thing they do is they go like,
you can't talk to, we're addicts. We don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I got kids and my comedy community and my job. And it's like, I'm trying to really do what I can within that. But then it's like, I don't know, man. Like, it seems like we're destined to build AI. Like it does seem like we
can't stop it now.
Making calculators, since like thousands of years ago, little bead counters, and it's gone all the way to like that, where it's like maybe that's our destiny, and maybe it does destroy us. Maybe it's great. Maybe it just isolates us from each other, and we have some like we think we're happy, but we're actually like forgotten what it's like to share space and air with people. I don't know.
Or maybe it's the one doing the war with Elon Musk and Donald Trump. What if that was an AI said some
you
crazy
can't even
shit?
trust
You can't even trust it. What if it's just all AI? The AI is like, this is because hey, I wanted you AI, Al Iverson, artificial intelligence, one of y'all hoes. It's funny thing.
I'm an ally, just here to.
I'm chaotic neutral. I'm not standing with y'all. I'm standing on whatever team needs me.
Yeah.
And right now the humans, because niggas can't read.
Because I mean, I do think that that like about everything that I say on this. This is like episode 106, like hours and hundreds of hours going into the internet. It's there for AI. But I also, so that's worrisome, or I don't know. Like I really don't know. But also I know that doing these episodes has brought me like so much closer together with people. It's helped my mind and community. Yep. If I didn't have a podcast and I was like, just come over and talk to me, it wouldn't happen as much as if. So,
it's a double-edged sword.
So it's like I'm getting these amazing benefits now, and later I don't know. Like maybe it'll be my demise, in some way. I'm like, fuck, but I still stand by the connections now.
I thought of that too.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know what's gonna happen.
Well, it's funny you're saying that. This is why I've held off doing a lot of public stuff, because I'm always like in my brain, I had a paranoid father, so in my paranoid brain, I'm like, ChatGPT can't copy me if I'm constantly irrational.
Yeah,
it's kind of what I like about him is like people like you're just like, oh, you can't really put them in a machine. Because it's like all the little pieces that make them are things that are subtleties you got to pick up. It's like, so for that, because I know like I throw people off all the time because I feel completely contrarian to most things.
Yeah.
Like if I'm hanging out with people not around others or I'm just at home, I had the most like fuck offish energy. I'm just like, oh yeah, or I'm just skedaddling about. Like I was telling a friend recently, I'm like, I don't know how to be in a group. I've been alone most of my life. I was a kid who would be like, show up and just disappear.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I
would have guessed the opposite. I would have guessed the opposite.
I bounced around because I went to schools. I went to different schools all the time. Went to different places. I was in so many different environments. I was
the
so
Southeast
different from myself.
Or all over the country?
Southeast.
Yeah.
And like I was born in Colorado. Military brat, bounced around, but all through the Carolinas, like this school district for 2 years. Being like I got put in different types of classes, so it'd be like the higher classes one group, remedial the other class, and the other like district right across. Same grades. But it'd be like that kind of shit got me used to seeing that a lot of shit is kind of a fraud, especially when you're around different people. Like I was around the jocks, I was around the nerdy kids, and like just noticing like I never really fully fit in, which I used to hate as a kid. When you get older, you're like, that's kind of cool.
That is cool, yeah.
It's cool as shit.
And I bet everybody in those groups feels that way too. I imagine getting older. Yeah.
And it's like what I like being in those groups is like feeling like the Mary Poppins to let people get some of that sense of self out, where it's like, I don't know, it feels like a Dead Poet Society. I'm just walking around being like, stand on the desk, tell them hoes how you feel. And sometimes it's not what they want to hear. And I'm like, I stand with that. Even though I may not always stand with it, just to be like, I know they need this.
Yeah.
So,
if you don't want to hear it, you might even need it more. But yeah, I mean, what's that like going? Because I feel, I don't know, like I'm probably more extroverted than some people in my house. But when I like go into like a comedy thing and like walking up to the outside area where there's lots of people, or going and then trying to like, that's very hard for me because I feel like I always will like not. I don't know how long to linger or who to say hi to. Whereas this, like a one-on-one combo or three people is like my.
That's my strength.
This is probably why part of the reason for this is like talking to people. So that's like and like sometimes people go out afterwards, and I'm just like I just need to go home and process all these. Can't just lie there in silence.
That's you and I. Like I feel the same way. I'm always like when I'm out, especially at comedy shows. Like, I want to see everybody because like I tell them, dog, we're all in this together. It's like we all build and grow with each other, and that's why I love going to shows and listening. Cause I'm like, yeah, I remember that joke you did a year ago. I know you did it twice. I've only heard it once, but I know you did it twice. And you're like, oh, you were listening? He's like, the fuck you think I'm here just to fucking snort coke and just dance in the bathroom, do elephant dances? Like, no, I'm here to support. But it's like what you're saying of like I get overwhelmed. So usually that's why I go home. Is I'm like
trying to listen to everybody, trying to say hi to everybody. I always feel like I've let somebody down or something in some weird way, or I'm like I'll like play back. I'm like I was in my mind. I was like I'm going on the patio, and then I probably forgot. I probably should. I wonder if that person's mad, and that person probably
they don't even care. They don't even think about it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, most times they're just like boom. But to that point. Yeah.
So it's weird, but yeah, you seem pretty extroverted to me. I don't know. You present as...
I've learned it.
Yeah.
I was a hyper... It's why I think a lot of my comedy comes from is being the weirdo in a lot of groups. So I was a quiet weirdo. I stuttered till I was like 11. I used to be like... Boo, boo, boo,
really?
Boo. Yeah, man. I couldn't... I had social anxiety like a motherfucker.
Did you have to like fix it with speech stuff, or did you just get more comfortable in your skin and it just...
I got bullied better. So I was like, all right. And I realized like being a feral child, fighting people doesn't fix it.
Come on in, buddy.
Come on in. Damn, dog. You look like you disheveled. Like you just woke up.
Yeah. Welcome.
Come on, take a seat. Come on, take a seat.
Yeah, this is cool. Thank you for coming.
Amazing location.
We got Aidan here, y'all.
I was like, should I send Aidan a text? It's like, just come along. It is my house, so I don't know if there's another person with you, but
yeah.
It's gonna be just the three. Yeah, so glad to see you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I delete my apps. I hate being on social media, but I just checked it. I was like, oh yeah, that's today. Show tonight.
I fucking hate it.
Wild night last night.
Yeah, pretty wild. It was fun. Good show. Good showcase.
I say, how'd you feel about your set?
Oh, the Dirty Dozen was last night.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah.
That's a really interesting room. This is a really good. They made that into a really good room.
Still haven't been there. I need to check it out.
I've been there once to peek in, but like not seen it for a show. Yeah, how'd you feel last night?
That's my favorite bar I've ever been in my entire life. It's like the most futuristic bar.
It is.
They have like this like NFT like Beeple. I don't know if you know Beeple, but he does like the generative, and it's like Shiva, like the Indian like god, and like it's always like it's these like geometric. It's so cool.
It's a lot of
art on the walls.
Yeah, it's a lot of art.
Yeah, it's digital art. So it's always changing. It's always like a new slide, and it's like that art that's like it's never static. It's always flowing, and it's always like morphing. It's like a trip basically.
Which is something I like, but it's hard on my eyes. I was telling Alex yesterday. It's like my colorblind is within like visual certain. It's why certain movies I can't catch things, or I'll catch too much of it. Or I'm like I can tell it's CGI because I can tell like the shine of it. But I like the movement, like especially there's a couple pieces I was showing Alex, like some of them are really dope and how they keep moving because I see more in color patterns than like color, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like where things shouldn't be should be. So
is it downtown or west side?
It's downtown.
It's downtown. It's on Wall Street.
Yeah.
It's actually where Jubilee used to be. I don't know if you went there.
Yeah.
Like super Native American hippie church.
Yeah.
I grew up going there, and then
wait, that's
so
what
it
that
got a good
was?
vibe. Yeah.
You always got to drop something at the beginning of the podcast that's like unexpected.
That's hilarious. I didn't know that.
Now it's Jubilee Kid.
I mean,
no,
we are
like,
in Asheville.
Maybe it's not unexpected.
It's funny as hell because I've heard about this church. I didn't know that's funny as hell.
Yeah. They always had the sage and the incense, and they would go in the 4 directions, do a blessing every direction, have like sand one direction, water one direction, fire, and then
air for the eyes.
Like a seltzer or just a water?
Oh, smart water.
You got one?
Oh, they got canned smart water. I'll take one for the road.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
God, it's getting so smart.
Look at this shit. Look at
they upgraded from plastic. They're getting
We can't afford the plastic no more. We got cans. Even though don't they put plastic in the damn can?
I think it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's just
everyone's always talking about half my feet is just microplastics destroying everything. But then it's like if we just look at it in perspective, like 60 years ago, like people barely had food. People were like anorexic, starving. So it's like I'll take a little bit of microplastics if I can have some food. And, like
life expectancy is still more. Right. Yeah. I think it's starting to dip now a little, but it's like if you look at all of human history, it's like there's plastics, but you get to be more than like I'd be dead at my age. Like
wasn't Jesus was like 27, right? Yeah, it's like stuff like that, or like the oldest you might get is 38 back then.
But Jesus didn't die of old age.
Yeah, no, even
they beat the shit out of him.
They beat the shit out of him.
But then he came back.
He probably had 5 more years left anyway. They were like, it's like civilization. Sacrifice him now, get more points later. You're like, all right, I'll do that. I'll do that.
I'll take a microplastic for a shower, for a basic human, like amenities.
I'll do that.
That's a trade I'm willing to accept.
Yeah, 1 per shower. Yeah, I'll take the mods. I shower every day.
I'll take a macroplastic to get some Chick-fil-A. Like I don't give a
your whole arm is gonna be like actually
the Bionicle Man.
It's gonna be like anime. Be like, oh, you're plastic. You just like morph your plastic arm to a sword. Fight off all the plastic deer.
Well, we know who watches One Piece here.
No, you know it. You can read shirts. You can read shirts.
No, but that bar, yeah, you truly got to check it out.
Yeah.
All the bartenders from Disclaimer hopped over. It's like the new spot now. It's like
it just feels like it's
they got that face there. Yeah. Last time we were up on a stage, which I was telling people last night, like, I'm an asshole. I like that superiority complex. Like, I'm above you. I'm looking down on you. Like last night, yeah, it was on the same level, and it like didn't have the face in the background. It's still a great venue.
How was the stage comparatively to the room?
I personally like the stage better. Some people didn't, but the stage.
I heard the sound. They said the sound was a little weirder though. The stage, right?
Oh, that may have been why. Yeah. But the lighting was great, and the
lighting stopped here.
The Wednesday music hall one started on the stage, because that made sense.
Really?
Yeah, so it was up on the stage, and I feel like it does work better on the ground. And somebody said, I think. Maybe Petey said the reason is because like half of it's bad. So when you're looking up at somebody, like with all the authority of a stage, you need it to stay good. Whereas when it's on the floor, it's like, yeah, this is an open mic. But I guess maybe with that room, it's more too like you had this long hallway, and then people are coming in the door, so that's kind of distracting off to the side. So I don't know. I think like I'm big on like placement of bathrooms and doors. Like if the stage is like people are coming in front of it, I think that'll kill it. I don't know.
Right. Walking in front.
Yeah.
Also, to your point, that makes sense with like if you have bad comedy. Because I mean, even the Don't Tell comedy sets are usually ground. It's rarely you see one elevated. It's usually all
it's kind of
ground,
part of
which
it.
Makes
it's
sense.
Like, yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, but the first time, like I feel like because of the angle, they had way more seating. Like it was like 50 people. Like yeah, we were struggling to even find a place to sit, couch type shit. I don't know.
Maybe they'll go back to the stage. It's only been 2 shows there, right?
Yep,
I haven't missed that. I need to be there for the third one. Feels like there's a thing happening.
I know.
It's kind of that's been the thing with this summer. I was like, God damn, there's a lot of things happening. I'm like, I can't. I'm like what you were saying with this pod, being like, I'm losing track of everything.
Yeah, life is speeding up. It went from 0 to 100, at least in the Asheville scene. Like I got no shows for 6 months. Now I got like 4 shows in a week. It's like, what's going on, man?
Man, me too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but
that's great. You just gotta make sure it doesn't destroy you.
You gotta go home.
You can take. Your body can take the destruction.
He has like 4 more years. You're 22.
Yeah, I just turned 23.
Yeah, last 23. Okay, you got 5 more years of hard time, and then you got like start easing back.
You can die like Jesus.
Yeah, your 20s.
I said Jesus was 27. That's like the rock star age.
Yeah, but that's why. Maybe I'm projecting Jesus as a rock star. It could be 32.
See, Aidan, that'd be part of. It'd be better if you didn't. But it'd be like this kid. He was so good. Got on, died at 27. It would be a legend
of the crazy train. Yeah, I do be getting on the crazy train sometimes, but fuck it. It's like I feel like I've been like so strict. Like when COVID happened, I was just like playing basketball like 2 sessions a day. I would just like go to the gym all day. I would like eat like super like oatmeal and shit all the time. Just like I was just like a granola ass motherfucker. And I was like now I'm just like going the other far. I'm just like you got to have that balance.
I definitely hear with the COVID thing because I was just working out, just doing like jail workouts in the house all the time.
All
the time.
Yeah. Nothing else to do. And then,
you get that Wolverine fucking regeneration. You're 20. I'm kind of just now being like, all right, this shit doesn't heal.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel it now. I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have did that.
You hurt yourself and it just stays there forever. You're like, okay, fuck, I gotta like limit the number of hits.
Yep. I get it. It's like a running back who's like, I don't want to be getting 40 carries. You're like, 4, bitch, get 40. You're like, nah, I don't want 10 carries, bro.
Yeah.
Don't give me no 10 carries.
That's what I like about doing jiu-jitsu, though, is like it shows you how much the body is actually willing to take. Because like in society, there's a lot of just like, like any minor injury, go to the urgent care, take pills, take antidepressants. But like in jiu-jitsu, like you're getting fucked up all day long. You're getting choked out. You're getting smacked. You're like all this shit. So it's like, it does really help expand like the amount of human physical potential, and you're like, oh, okay, the human body is capable of a lot. Like these dudes are getting smacked in the face. I
got a question for that though, because I've been thinking about this with sports stuff. I don't think we teach people things well in our country, like especially for like martial arts stuff. I feel like we always take bits of it, and then there's a certain like generation the things are lost. Like I'm thinking about this with basketball with the 3-man weave. When the fuck do you do a 3-man weave in a game?
I was too dyslexic for that. I would always run the wrong way. Someone would yell at me.
Then, when have you ever seen that happen in the game where somebody does that, where it's like, oh, the Mighty Ducks played, like the game-winning move? It's like, no one does that shit, so you realize, why the fuck were we learning this?
Yeah, I don't like that in high school. High school is like a little sort of backwards. It's like, because you know, like the football and basketball players, they just have these massive egos in high school, but they're like kind of insecure because I feel like they like don't know how to defend themselves. Like if y'all like jiu-jitsu people, they're just the most humble, nice people ever because they're not insecure. Like they know they can handle themselves. And like they're like universally, that's what people say. Jiu-jitsu people are the nicest people. It's just because like, so I think they should have that in high school.
Most of them. You get others who are kind of crazy. You get the Chuck Norris likes.
Right.
But not Chuck Norris.
I'm just saying generally, but yeah. But like I think in high school, just to balance out that just like massive ego, the football players just be like, okay, like. There's, you know.
But isn't that the cultural change? Like, because even with, like, American sports, even, I see it with, like, look at the NBA. All the MVPs the last 6 years have been foreign, like, guys not from this country. And they always, like, mention of, like, learning the sport different. It's why we don't have any good soccer players. Yeah. Like, certain things. Or even martial arts, we don't have a lot of good. Look at the MMA.
John Jones, but
you mean because
comparatively,
like
how many
kind
other
of weak and lazy? Yeah. It's like the urgent care thing.
You don't have the discipline part.
Most
it's like
countries in the world probably don't even have that. It's like I got bit by a rattlesnake. I hope the swelling goes down.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like and then it does, and you're like a badass. But we're all like,
Yep. Because even like when you're saying with the MMA thing, it's like, yeah, but there's a lot more Eastern European guys. Like for every good American, there's like 6 of those guys.
I mean, yeah, it is probably a lot of like what they're talking about, like the fluoride in the water, and like in Europe, they don't have all these like chemicals, crazy shit, and all the food, and it's like there could be some stuff like that. But yeah, my brother did get bit by a rattlesnake when he was like 8. We were at the Arboretum, and he went off the trail, like 2 feet off the trail, and he said it felt like a wooden like Steak. Plywood with 2 nails in it, just right into his ankle. And he was like a young kid, so he like immediately started like seizing up, and like his eyes went under. And my dad was like, "Keep him up!" Like we had to like keep shaking him because he like kept going under. And then we finally got him to the hospital, brought him inside, and his leg was like 3 times the normal size, and then like 80% of people are allergic to the anti-venom, so like it's super sketchy to give someone anti-venom. But thank God my brother was not allergic to his specific anti-venom, and like he survived. He made it through. He went through rehab, but it was like yeah, it's scary because it was a baby snake too, and baby snakes don't know how to control their venom. They just like shoot all of it. So it was sketchy. Yeah, he could have gone under, but
that's interesting. A baby snake bite could be worse because you'd think smaller.
Yeah,
because moccasins get your ass like that. That's how you get got by like water moccasins. It's always like a little baby when you don't notice, and you just and that hot needle thing. The snake bites feel like they hurt like a bitch. I got bit by like a moccasin, but.
Are those super poisonous?
Yeah, they're like the little poisonous water snakes, but they didn't get much help. Went to the doctor after. It was like a while. They were like, we'll check the next day. You good? It's like, all right. We can't afford that, nigga. It's like, well, you're not paying attention. It's like, I'm sorry. But yeah, that shit sucks. But the rattlesnake is a baby rattlesnake? Hell no. I'd rather stab me in the leg. Just give me one. Yeah. Kick it back.
Yeah, they didn't know if it was a copperhead or what because they didn't know which correct anti-venom. But thankfully, the park ranger went out to that same spot, found the snake, cut the head off, brought it back to the hospital, like to let him know.
Shout out to that ranger.
For sure.
Also, how much time? Because I think like that's the thing with snake or bug venom is like some of them hit harder quicker, some of them ease you into it, and you can still like we were saying about the other countries, you can still survive. You just have to get through the first hour or so or two.
It was quick onset.
It was quick. Yeah.
It was like a DMT pipe, like that shit. It was like 1 minute in. He was in the bathroom season. It was just like, okay.
It's like a baby snake and a young kid too. I wonder if that like speeds everything up.
Yeah. Definitely, his immune system was not.
Because you're a young kid, your head is most of your body.
So I notice my kids, and whatever you put into them, it's just like, it just like comes out, and then like the older you get, the more it's like maybe that could even help you with a snake bite when you're old. I don't know. I'm just making up science. That's half of what podcasts.
You can get resistance. You can get resistance.
I'm not even gonna check. Let's just say it.
We'll ask Google AI real soon.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Let's talk about unless Andrew Huberman is fucking in the room. Like, Yeah, that is a good point.
What's your favorite? What animal would you want to get bit by if you could get bit by an animal?
Definitely a human, if that counts. But
that's that's a great answer. All right, I second that.
Yeah. No,
you gonna let Sydney Sweeney bite you? I let Sydney Sweeney bite you.
That's funny. I was actually having a conversation about Sydney Sweeney last night.
Get stuffy in here. The AC is loud. We'll see if that helps. It just gets hot by the end. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just talking with this girl, and she was talking about how like it's so hard to be like a young girl because the beauty standards are like so crazy on Instagram, and everyone like she was talking about Sydney Sweeney as an example, and she's like it makes her so insecure because she's always comparing herself. Like she has to stare in the mirror for like 5 minutes and just break apart every aspect of her face. And then what's fucked up is the AI will it knows close when you're the most depressed because like you're scrolling at like a certain reel, and that's when they give you like the makeup advertisement or like the lip cosmetic, like lip injections. Like they know you're at your lowest point, so then they want to sell you something, and it's like they want to get you down to sell you it, and then the lip injections barely work. They make your like lips like all like it like it's all weird.
I need to get those. I got no lips.
Do you want? I mean, you don't need the lips. You got like you won't see your teeth no more. You be able to tell some
Pac-Man, just like
No, who needs lips when you got
cut it out?
a shed.
You got a beautiful house, like 10 minutes from downtown.
I have stuff. I don't have lips, but I got this dope shed.
Aiden bring up a good point. I don't want lips neither if I got a shed. To be honest with you, like lips is kind of overrated.
Trade your lips for a
I
shed?
trade my lips. I got a little bit. I'll tell you, give me a half a shed. You get some of my lip.
You give me the bottom one, I'll give you half the
No,
shed.
I like the bottom one. That's the cute one. Nah, you get the top only. I can cover it up with the mustache. But yeah, big body. Yeah, the beauty standards are crazy.
Yeah, it is
for men and women, for both, because it's crazy.
More so women.
I think it's getting. I think that for men it is getting like in my
'Cause
lifetime, like it's not still more toxic for ladies, but it's just starting. Instead of fixing that, we're just making it as bad for men slowly.
Because I see it with some of the kids I would teach. Like a lot of them would come to me for workout stuff, and I'm always like, it's hard. Like I was bringing the discipline thing about the jujitsu because I notice a lot with like coaches and mentors. Where if I'm dealing with somebody, I'm always telling them like, hey, work on your base. Like a lot of the joint stuff, those things of having like longer grip, longer muscles versus this bulk. They all want to bulk up and be built like freaking The Rock. But I'm always like, people like that aren't natty, dog. Like you can't be built like that naturally.
It doesn't look healthy to me.
It's not healthy.
I like a lean.
It's not fun.
Yeah, it's not fun.
When I was a freshman in college, I got up to like 215. I would eat like
you were 215.
Yeah, I would eat 9 meals a day.
So many unexpected things always come up.
I would eat like it was crazy. Sometimes I would just eat until I threw up, and then I would just keep eating, and I would just like. I was just obsessed. Like that was like my whole personality. It was like I just got to be as big as strong as possible. I was working out for like an hour and a half every day, and it was just like. But then at a certain point, like my digestive system was just always overworking, so I just had like no energy to do anything else. Yep. And then it just wasn't worth it. Like now it's just I'm fine with my 3 meals a day. I feel great. I feel so much better. Like
what were you doing specifically? Like a lot of shoulder, back, legs, core.
I bought this workout program from my old high school basketball coach, and he's like a legit like trainer and from Greenville, and so he gave me this like it was like. You had to do 4 reps 4 sets, 15 reps. Like he would just split it up like back, buys, chest, tries, and so you would have some every single day, and then legs one day, and then one day you went on a run, and then I literally didn't skip a day for like a year and a half. I did it straight every single day, and like. I was dumb as fuck because I was always tired.
Yo, I'm listening to a horror film. I'm like, this is NBA. I'm in the league. I got to keep this up. God damn,
I was a meathead for sure. But but then it like comes back to you in like a certain way. Like it's still mental. Like it still helps the brain out. And then like now that I'm not putting as much work in, it's like it's coming back and like it's still helpful.
Well, it's like we were talking about this before you got here about like just discipline. It's like what I was saying about like someone like Austin yourself. Is when you do like a sport or have that mentality, you build up that discipline to work when no one else is around and to work out or to build up time to work out and to get that energy out because it is part of the mental. People separate the physical from the mental, and I'm like, they're the same damn thing. Yeah. It's the same shit.
Right.
And the spirit is just the accumulation of the 3. It's like the Triforce, Legend of Zelda. You got the 1, 2, bow, up top.
Yeah, it's all one thing. Spirit, body, mind, soul. It's all connected.
Just which one you feed them.
It's just a spiral, right? Yeah, you gotta feed it up.
Still sounds kind of like a cool experience. If you didn't do any long-term damage to your body by doing that, then it's like you have that perspective from. I think it's good to go far into something and then be like, "Whoa, I know I'm not that," and then you have that forever. Like the shadow of it can kind of guide you with more stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It just transitioned for me. Like I was like, I want something that's a little more social, and like for me, that's like jiu-jitsu. Like I can just like I'm still getting that exercise in, but I'm able to talk, converse with people. I'm using my brain way more, going over technique, all the different moves, and like I feel like I'm literally getting smarter every single class. So it's like it just transitioned. But
what's your strength? Your strength in jiu-jitsu? Like what is your natural thing? Because we all got in any martial art, you have a natural move. Yeah. What's your natural go-to?
I mean, again,
grappler, striker.
Like I don't want to talk like I'm anything. I'm super mid. Like
anybody out there wants to take Aidan on?
No, yeah, right.
In the street,
right. People on the internet who are like,
no, it doesn't sound like you're
brown belts. Okay, but
I'll
say my favorite move like would be to. I really like the triangle from the back. when you're on your back, because it's like a very like humble position. Like they think they got you. They think like they're about to pass your guard. Like, and then that's when you can like it's like a David and Goliath. Like when you're at your weakest point, suddenly boom, you throw up a trap. You throw up that snake trap. That anaconda pops out. You grab the triangle and then just hold it for dear life. I also really like guillotines. Like we would just be standing. If it's a bigger guy who doesn't really know what he's doing, I would just jump that guillotine and then throw my legs over him, and he has to carry my body weight with my forearm on his neck, and it hurts so bad on that trachea. So he has to crumble down to the ground, and that's when you lock the legs in and just squeeze, and then it's just.
I love it. How often do people get fucked up? And they like
every class. Like yeah.
How old are the people?
Oh, all age ranges.
Really? And there's people
kids that were 17 up to 70. Like anybody can do it.
70-year-old putting people in the guillotine for death.
No, the 70s, yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu is like the one thing where it's not about, you don't have to be massive. You can be like, the wiser you get, the better you are. Like the dude Helio Gracie.
Yeah, well he won the first MMA thing, right?
That was his son.
Okay.
But he kept training until he was like in his 90s, because it's just like all about spirit and soul and just like yeah, it's all technique. So it's just like you couldn't do that workout into your 90s, like so.
Yeah. I was really into Tai Chi. I did it like a lot, like right before comedy. So it's kind of like more like a lot of people are kind of like health and old people and just moving slow. But there's like the push hands element where you do. So I did some with people that did like the mixed stuff, and they were just like you described, like the most humble, sweet people. Like it's kind of cool to get up in people's space, and I feel like there's just this fear of conflict and confrontation. You know, It's like you're not supposed to go out and get in fights, but then. What do you do with that? Like, if you don't ever touch people and get up, then it's like that's its own trauma or something. Like you're afraid of it.
It's the absence of trauma. It's the absence of trauma forms out like a mental trauma. It's like the body, mind, soul. If you're like stopping the body from its full evolution, it'll just put that weight into another part of yourself, and you can get a lot of hyper anxiety. It's like it's like
avoiding conflict, which we're kind of built to do. It's only in the last little like decades that you could even be just like alone on your screens. Like my kids aren't really in. Like one of my kids is just really not like. I want to like. She played softball, and it's nice with just when a girl like slams into her or something, because she's so not into that. I'm like, good, yeah.
I agree.
She's
getting
like I kind of want her to like take more hits like that. You know what I mean? So you're not like afraid of it. You know, like if it happens to you enough, I sense that she's like, oh, I'm tougher than I think I am.
That was
it almost becomes euphoric, like when you've like done enough, and when someone like has your neck and has your back, like it seems crazy, but it's like that feeling like when you're just dropped down a roller coaster and you just get like lightheaded, and just like you get the butterflies and the weight goes up, and like you're like in that spirit realm where like you see the stars in your eyes and you're going under and you haven't taken a breath in like 30 seconds, and it's just like it almost becomes euphoric. It's like
you're alive.
That
lack of energy in your head. You're
right. You're so embodied and you're just so present in the moment, and it's like life or death. And then they're your friend. They let you go, and then you dap each other up, and then it's all friends at the end of the day.
But what if they don't let me go, though?
No, they will.
That's
a crime. That's murder. And then they would go to jail, and that school would probably get shut down.
I know myself. I'm going to make somebody get to the point where they're like, I won't let them go. And don't be sitting there like, bitch, you ain't going to let me go. You punk ass, don't let me go, bitch. Just die out of pettiness.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always find like in every little, like, especially in sports, I think about when I was doing boxing, there's always one person in the class. I'm like, I just want to fuck with you because you too aggressive. It's always the person who's just too much. It's like, I won't be partnered with you because we got to balance this shit out. It's like we got too much like hype energy. I had one guy, he treated boxing like Eminem treated 8 Mile. And I'm just like, bro, we are 13 years old. We not going pro, dog. It's Creedmoor. Yeah. You could do it, but I'm also like, why he would do it? I'm like, bro, you got a mental game, dog. I'm helping you with your mental game. You ain't built like that yet.
But going back to what you were saying about like getting it out, like that's what I felt my first jiu-jitsu class. It was just like I was so relieved for some reason. Like I just texted my friend. I was like, thank you so much for like that experience, because like I had all this built up resentment and anger, and then I felt like I just like got it out, and then I just like it was just so like relieving and relaxing. And it's just the rest of your day, like it doesn't matter if you get rained on or your car runs out of gas, like anything else. It can't get worse from there. You were just getting choked out for an hour and a half.
That's like, sort of how I feel about comedy, but it is more mental. Like I think it's not the same, but it is like, you know, the fear that they're gonna like not approve of me, or like they're gonna want to destroy me. Like afterwards, there is this lightness, even if it goes bad.
Right.
Especially if it goes bad, because you're like, well, I survived that. But yeah, it's not the physical is really nice. I wanted to do like boxing or something when I was younger for that, because it's like Same with comedy. It's like I was afraid of public speaking, so let's just do it in the scariest form. It's like I'm kind of afraid of like physical confrontations, so the solution is just to like do it a bunch.
Yeah, there's that quote like do the thing you fear, and then the fear will dissipate. The fear has to dissipate, and 100%.
Well, it's kind of what I was saying earlier about the teaching people stuff. Is like you gotta work on your weaknesses first. Is what I always try to tell the kids. Is like know what you're not good at. Learn why you're not good at it, evolve that, because what you're good at, you can keep growing. If you have a natural talent to something, that affinity can be there. But if you don't work on you get top heavy, and then you don't see the rest of the pieces. Because it's why, like, so much of our culture, you get people who are super religious, do nothing else. They're just always into that, or their spirit is like don't see the connection to the mind and body. With comedians, even with comedy and doing laughter, or even poetry writers, historically, a lot of them didn't get out much, or they let their body be the thing that destroys them, or like they don't have a soul to something. It's like you're always missing this other part, and it's that element of balancing it out and trying to make space to be cognizant of it, because you're not going to be everything. But just when you're aware of where you're at, your weaknesses and stuff, you're building a base, and then that's where community comes in. It's like you just put the pieces, you got Lego, it's a community.
Totally.
Yeah. That reminded me of that's why when I started comedy, I would do my set that or the jokes I wrote when I was like early in my 20s, and I knew they were terrible, and I even hated saying them, but I was just building that building that barrier, fighting through the resistance. I was like, I need to suck right now. It's gonna help me out a lot later, because then when I have good jokes, then I'll have the same stage presence and be able to keep my composure. So I had to walk through the mud, and but yeah, it is fascinating. Like I was listening to a podcast on like Isaac Newton, like who came up with like theory of gravity and like all this stuff, and his big thing was like isolation. Like he went to like Cambridge. I'm pretty sure for like
he was celibate
4
too,
months.
allegedly.
Right? Yes,
too,
he was completely celibate.
Not allowing yourself.
Yeah, Mark Twain like tried to like send him like a couple of ladies or whatever, like send a couple of girls his way, and they were good friends, but then that almost destroyed their friendship. He was like genuinely pissed at Mark Twain because he tried to hook him up.
How dare you give me pussy? Don't give me pussy.
That's funny. I didn't know they were like communicating across the pond. That's kind of interesting.
Did you know at the same time, what's his name, who wrote Portrait of Dorian Gray and the existentialist dude here, I forget their name, they were hooking up. I'm forgetting.
Simone de Beauvoir and
not Simone. Oscar Wilde, and who wrote fuck it. American not existentialism.
Ayn Rand?
No, before that, Walt Whitman and Oscar Wilde. They was doing the thing.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah, weren't they both like maybe gay?
Yeah, they were both.
Like, it was like definitely not cool in the 19th century.
But that's crazy to think of, like that same time that was happening with Yeah,
it is crazy. Yeah, those people are like when you got you're outside of the norm if it's with your sexuality or whatever. Like the dude who invented the Alan Turing,
Tesla.
The scale that they judge AI on to be like, is it smarter than a human? Like basically the dude who created the test to see how smart humans are.
The blank test.
Right. If only we had but yeah, that was the dude that also like uncovered the like codes, I think in like World War II.
Oh, yeah, Alan
like
Turing.
He was working in Britain, and he was like uncovering the German codes, and he was like a genius. He built that big machine. There was that movie about it.
Because it had Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah.
But you're talking about like the correlation between like isolation and being having amazing ideas, or
that's what they're saying in this podcast. That's what Isaac Newton said. Like his trick was just going on these like long walks on his farm, like with his family's farm. He was isolated because he was just alone with like the universe. Like he was just alone with his thoughts. He didn't have the distraction, just like the drama and the bullshit of just like everyday social interaction. So his mind was able to just keep expanding, and he didn't have like the constraints. So that was his big secret. And also he said he would eat very light. Like he would eat like just like super minimally, like what we were talking about earlier.
Digestion drains those juices.
For sure.
Brain juices are down here. Like I after I eat, I'm definitely like dumb. If I eat a big meal, like I don't do comedy after eating a lot anymore, because you're up there like somebody says something and you're kind of lethargic.
The isolation thing is really true, because historically a lot of great thinkers did the isolation, but it's kind of interesting what you're saying. We can't do it now because it's like, I realize this with having a dumb phone. You spend so much of your middle time checking technology or looking at things all the time that you
decision fatigue.
Yeah,
and those little micro checks add up. That's like a whole paper you could have written today, or a bit or something.
Dude, I've been trying to write more long form essay stuff, and I'll write a fuck ton of notes, but it's like the energy to sit down and go through them, because I'll hit the point where I'm like, wait, let me look this idea up again real quick, and then that's 30 minutes, and then I turn around.
And your algo's like, since you're here, here's some giant booties.
Yep.
Oh, fuck.
Big old booties. No, big booties. Oh, God, wide, long, all the butts. And then I'm like, that's been 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's got this giant graph of like everybody that has the same things as you, that what's worked and what hasn't. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat it.
It's hard to
like
beat.
You were saying about we know you're depressed, you're scrolling more.
Yep.
This is going to work.
And then, like, you can't get the time to get real good thoughts because it takes so much time and energy to form that. It's like, even with art, that's why we talk about art is dead. It's like, I'm actually reading a book now about the art, and, like, so much of it became the markets. So then, where we are now is the markets. But what's funny is just, like, this element of, like, yeah, you can't make deeper thinking things if you can't sit for 10 minutes. Or if you make a classic piece of art, that moment's pass.
Yeah, that's what I respect so much about comedians. Yeah. They take that self-isolation time, that introspective meditation time to write, and like, yeah, because if you're, like, I don't know about y'all, but like that group writing, like if someone like invites me to like write comedy with them, it's just not the same. Like I'll run jokes by once it's already furnished and once it's already like in development, but like even that joke workshop stuff for me, it's just like it doesn't necessarily like help.
Like that's a theme that comes up on here, like the whole like writing by committee versus like one voice. I always prefer one voice. Like my favorite filmmakers is like Quentin or somebody that's like, it's that guy, you know. He picked the songs, he wrote it, the dialogue, and as soon as you get 12 people around a table and they're like, well, this group needs this, and then it becomes this watered down
100%
art by committee. And I think now that there's just so much content and it's too much and you can't even remember what you watched yesterday, it's even more important to have like that one voice, that one person poking through.
I was going to say to that, why separate them? Because I think honestly, like, I think a confidant, like having someone you feel close enough to be your genuine self or to share moments with, I feel like is a big step of the writing process we miss. Because like,
it's a balance. I mean,
it's all to your best friend. Like, telling your best friend, that's what will give you a moment where they're like, oh, that was funny. And you write it down. And then I feel like that's the step we forget. I mean, before that second step of like, do we write more of it by ourselves or go to a committee? Because I feel like that having just people you trust around you to feel like you can express stuff.
That's why the hang is so important. Yeah. Like for new comics, like it's almost like if you could almost just do the hang and not even go up on stage and just be around comics, you would get in the groove. You would get in the energy spectrum of it. Like now, I'll just like be talking with like Austin before a mic and then come up with a whole 5-minute set on just like storytelling, just helping me like think through the perspective. And the hang is so important. I get so many jokes I just put in my notes, put in my phone, and then like.
But to that point, people don't have a lot of people to hang with. I think that's what's interesting is like with like technology and stuff, people's way of hanging is a lot different. It's like used to be back in the day, you just hang out with the boys or the girls or whatever, and you just kicking it with them for a while, and it's like
watching some bad commercials together
bad
for hours,
commercials,
just like finding some fucking thoughts out of nothing.
Video games. I always think about with kids now. When I talk to them, I'm like, oh shit, we grew up in an era where you had to be there in person with a controller versus like playing online. That's a different way of socializing.
Yeah, speaking of bad commercials, I was watching TV last night.
Wait, what was you watching?
In a hotel. It was the Jersey Shore like family. It was like the family version where it's like the kids are there now, but they're still screaming at each other. It's like, wait, what? Kathy, I can't believe you ate the rest of my pie and shit. And they're just like freaking out. But then I just like a joke came to me. I was like, imagine how much like stepmom getting stuck in the washing machine is probably going to be in that show. Like that's just like it's just going to be
Snooki in the washing machine. She's like, someone help! Just wiggling her butt. It's like, no.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. We've gotten all the way to that's like the first ones that'll show you. It's like step siblings, and it's just like just another thing where it's like you just have to keep like everything has to keep getting stronger. Beer's got to be like 12%, like 48%. Everything has to be like incest and somebody's trapped in some thing. It's like what about just like a naked person, you know?
Yeah, what happened? I was like, I've been trying to pitch this for a while. I'm not really good with porn, but if I want to see it, I want to watch porn where it's like it feels real. I want somebody to make a mistake. I want jokes during it. Like I want something.
That's just like a date then.
Shit. Well, you can't get them. You got to go do the porn stuff first. I got to do OnlyFans before I get a date. That's crazy.
I had to give it up honestly, like because I started like from such a young age. Like y'all at least had that buffer zone, like to make it to 20, let your brain develop. Like I was 9. I specifically remember I was like
an AOL picture just like coming down. Like, I was like line. Like it took like 30 minutes just to typewriter. See.
Yeah, it's like a typewriter.
That's so much healthier. Like when I was 8 and 9, I found like aggressive like cartoon porn on the internet, and it's just like my little brain was just like obsessed with just like watching like all the like my favorite cartoon characters just getting like gang banged. It's just like, and then it just like kept like cycling up, and then when I was like 13, it would just be like these like
you won't last 10 seconds.
It'd be like these Bang Bro videos, and I would just sit there like take an edible and then just like jerk off like 4 times, and then it was just like, but then it's like I'm telling you,
it's like Family Guy.
4 times is crazy. I think 4 times. I was like 4 times. Like, I know, but damn.
Yeah, but it wasn't good because then the brain skips the part of where you have to do all the work and work to buy the food, buy the drinks, like go out, make personal connection, develop your personality. It's like your brain is like, oh, we've made
orgasm.
We've made it to the finish line, even when you haven't, and so it's like
that's the dopamine. You mentioned Huberman. That's the dopamine thing where you don't ever win that game. It's gonna balance. So you're just like now it needs to be this much and
right.
Wait, Aidan, when did you get your first smartphone? What age?
I remember, I think it was when I turned 13 because I remember my parents gave me it was an iPod. I don't think I had data.
My 13-year-old still just has a flip phone.
Good for
it's not even hers.
Good
it's not even in a room.
It's no judgment. It's no look.
The day is coming,
everywhere.
but trying to just like each day she's not on there. Like, because once you're on there forever.
Yes.
You don't not get on there.
Yeah, but
I'm trying to get off.
to finish that story, when I was 13, it was my birthday. My parents gave me a Justin Bieber puzzle. So I remember just like crying like a little bit. I was like, oh my God, y'all don't like me. Like, this is so terrible. But then I opened the puzzle and inside was the iPod. So they just tricked me. I was like, no, Justin Bieber.
Punchline.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I'm laughing because 13. No little 13-year-old cis straight boy likes Justin Bieber. Like, let's be honest. Even we all went through I was like, all right, Bieber not that bad, but we all hate him for no. Same thing with One Direction. I don't know Harry Styles. I just didn't like him because all the girls in my class liked him, and I was like, rap beef.
It's kind of interesting. I think we're all about 10 years apart. So the cultural, like the pop references.
That's why I keep asking questions or clarifying things. I feel like I'm the middle
New Kids
ground.
on the Block would be my version of that.
New Kids on the Block.
It's like no cis boy is gonna like that.
The weirder new edition, the white new edition.
Yeah, I mean, but all those dudes, those child actors, like you said, their dopamine gets so overloaded, they have to keep that same reps per minute, like the same hertz of dopamine. So like that dude Liam, I forget his last name, but he like was in Italy and he like OD'd on Molly with like his supermodel girlfriend. It's like they have to just keep the fucking machine going in the brain.
That kind of makes me think like the Newton walks and like, like the being out in the country and like just the stimulation thing where like in the space, like when you're coming out of that, like just overstimulated and you just try to meditate or try to lie in bed for 5 minutes and your brain's just like like skeletons swinging and fires and shit. Like
it's interesting to think about because I think it's probably easier for a regular person to do it. Because I'm thinking about like people like you were saying, like Liam Payne and a bunch of other people like that. They can't have a regular life. So, of course, it's like their dopamine is already fried from birth.
Right.
Versus a regular, because I think of people like a Samuel Jackson as an actor where it's like, yeah, Shorty was he had a whole life. So he can always be like, I don't need this acting shit. Harrison Ford is another one. You can tell it in their energy when they're like, they're not entertaining people.
Yeah, when I get famous, I'm going to be like,
the fuck off.
65, I'll be like, I
don't need that shit.
I lived a humble life.
Yeah, it's like, bye. It's like, bye, I'm out. But it's like that shit.
Yeah, some of these famous people figured out, they're like Chris Pratt, that's who played the Venom guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like he started, like he's like winning like black belt.
That's
like
Tom Hardy. Chris Pratt's
Tom Hardy, you're right.
He's very
I'm
similar.
happy you said the Venom guy because I got my white people mixed up.
They're the same guy.
I got my white people mixed up.
Tom Hardy, but that's what I love about like the whole like martial arts, like jiu-jitsu revolution, because it's like these guys who are on the top are realizing, oh, there's so many more levels to the human experience, and I can be so much more humble and so much more disciplined, and it's just like, so adding that when you're already on top, it just makes it so much greater. It like humble. It just, you're so grateful for everything.
But I think you gotta be truly grateful. I feel like a lot of times with celebrities, they can masquerade it well. I feel that a lot.
Great gratitude is at least daily. I think it's an hourly thing too, because there's always that like, oh, I finally got there, and then it just starts like, oh, I don't need my pills anymore because I'm feeling so good, kind of shit. You got to keep feeding it. But then if you're trying to like balance, I want to be physically thing, I want to do my jiu-jitsu and comedy and meditate, like it's like there's a point where it's too many. That's my problem. It's like family job is like, what are the big three I'm working on now? Because I start getting good at one and then something else slips, and it's just too many fucking things.
You just got to carve that time out. Like for probably like the past year, I've been like for 2 minutes I'll like visualize my stuff, maybe doing bigger venues, bigger shows, and just being more fit, more active. And then after that I'll do like 2 minutes of stuff I'm grateful for. Just like I'll just say like, thank you God for tables. Thank you, God, for showers. Just like basic shit that our ancestors didn't have. Like, thank you, God, for cars. Like, and then I'll do like a Wim Hof meditation where it's like 10 minutes and you breathe in, breathe out really heavy, and then you hold your breath for a minute and a half, and then breathe in for 15 seconds, and then breathe out, and it's like the best head rush. It's like a nicotine if it wasn't gonna have negative health effects. It's just like the most pure head rush. It feels so good. I can send y'all the link. It's a really good meditation.
Yeah,
it's like
I'd like to check that out. I've been experimenting. What do they call it? The non-sleep deep rest, NSDR. You guys heard of that?
Yeah.
It's like meditation, but it's like you just lie there, and the meditation could be a lot of like different things. But you just like a body scan or a guided body scan. Oh. So it really gets, because I'm just so in my fucking head. Like, I mean, I think like all my energy's been up here, so I'm really trying to like bring it. That to me, that's what balanced is. Like exercising can do that. If I like go for a run and sweat, it brings it down.
Yes.
But then I'll just start thinking about too much shit again, and it just starts like drifting up here.
Y'all don't Osmosis Jones y'all body? You know, Osmosis Jones, that shit. Like, I don't know. I can use this
like
metaphor.
Water?
Nah, for like the old. I'm realizing this is a millennial specific movie. It's funny because I think of it like when I explain this to kids about their body when I was like teaching PE. It was a lot of like, your body is a city, and there's different parts of the highway and things that connect. And when you get like an injury or something, you just got congestion on the highway, or like this part of town's dealing with this thing. You hurt your so-and-so, and it's like the element of visualizing that and visualizing that cleaning or like healing factor like within it. So if I like with my Achilles, sitting there a lot looking at scans and like images of how your Achilles muscles work, and then visualizing that healing. So like spending time breathing, imagine like I'm sending all of my energy to heal to that, and being able to visualize it, which is like, it's like magic. You just add more steps to it. Because people don't realize that like all that, that's all spirit. So like the element of being able to just like communicate your inner world self to the inner and outer self of yourself.
That's what I love about Asheville so much. Like these little hot spots of like these hipster cultures. Like we get like this information. We get to like learn like all these like Buddhist tricks and tactics. Like a lot of people in a small town in like Missouri, like good luck. Good luck.
If DJ said that there, we'd be like laughing at you. But here we're just like exactly like the mind is so powerful.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what I love about my parents is like instead of like coping with like a ton of pills and stuff, like my mom used to always say, like, even if you're sick, just like placebo, just say you're not, like pretend you're not sick, and then it goes away quicker every single time. And
I get in arguments with Emily about that, where I'm like, I can't get it this week. I got a big show. It's not gonna happen. And it's like, that's not real. I'm like, it is real. I can will myself to not get sick.
Things. Yeah, you can.
And I might get sick afterwards because I kind of kept it up. But I mean, the mind is so powerful. There's like some sci-fi movies where in the future you can like move shit with your minds and stuff.
Star Wars,
you know.
there's evidence and stuff. I feel like
I don't know if that's true, but
well, this is my thing. Like, it's why like I'm not a big in awe of technology all the time. From what we have is like, especially looking historically at some things, there's examples of people from the past doing things we could never fathom.
Yeah, we haven't built anything as amazing as this shit yet.
Yeah,
you know?
That's what I'm saying. Like little stuff like that, I think that's cool as hell because it's
shit out there, like nature and stuff. Like we have
walking. Like I think about even people's feet. Where like I remember seeing like one of my great relatives was her shack she grew up in was like a shack, and I was like, wait, what? She didn't wear shoes like that. It's like little stuff like that where you're just like, how the fuck? And you're like, oh, they're all much stronger, or like a different type of strength, or it's a different way of thinking, or a different way of like being aware of the environment, like
resilience, and
all this little weird shit I would learn.
Suffering, like what we call trauma now, like was just a good childhood. You know, go back anytime you go back 50, 100 years, it's like a good childhood will be dramatic now.
That's great. What a great time. Only 5 times? I got beat every day, dog. You just like, oh shit, that's crazy. But like to that, I think about little shit like is where street smarts comes from. It sounds I've been like telling kids or telling people, hey, we should probably, something's off in the woods. Like, what do you mean? It was like, I haven't heard any birds chirp. And then little stuff like that, like, what you mean is like, that means something. It means they notice some shit's going off. And they're like, yo, don't, hey, chill. Yeah. Little shit like that becomes important, and it becomes like, it's like we're in an era with so much information that we can't decipher wisdom, and wisdom sometimes looks like the stupidest information.
Yeah. Speaking of people, like those people in the Congo, like if you see pictures of their feet, like it'll literally mend over time and become like webbed hands and shit. Yep. And I was watching something in the Congo, and it was I was talking about the kids, like basically what you were saying, like they can just hear the bird chirping from like 15 yards away and then know where exactly which limb it's going to be. They climb up the tree, grab the bird, snap its neck, and then like they know exactly where like a honey hole is going to be. They reach in there, the bees are stinging them, and they're like, 6-7-year-old kids who just can handle the pain, and they just get the honey out, and it's like they're just so in tune. Like I think it can be a
way of thinking.
Yeah, it can be a clear sunny day, and if the wind is moving at a certain frequency, they're gonna be like, a storm's coming. It's like they have a built-in weather
station. Old people got that. I know some old folk. up in the mountains here that like can do that kind of. Because it's like it's funny because I used to hear it because I grew with my great relative a lot. My bunny neck, no, we finna have this and that. And you like, okay, they're just saying whatever. Then you see it, you're like, actually, what the fuck?
Because they came of age at that time when humans were more like the average human was more like what you're saying with the birds and stuff. Whereas now it's like the economy. I mean, I would love to know how to be a survivalist and do that stuff, but it's like the economy pays me to be on my computer, and that allows me to like do all this shit. But I do always kind of have the feeling that like I wish I had more of that, but our economy doesn't reward that. So we're in this game where it's like you're paid more to be the opposite of that in some ways.
Also, and you're like part Native American, right? So your ancestors, it's probably just in more your spirit because they would like their gods were all the different nature weather. And
I will push back because I feel like this is what thing like white people also have a lot of this. Like I look at Irish traditions, a lot of different Eurasian spots. It's like there's always an indigenous folk in every place, and what happens is colon or like settler way of thinking in any location. This goes in Asia, Africa. You see those different classes of like, oh, there's people here, but then they got these people, and it's like it's all the kind of we all come from it. It's just what do you choose to put your focus into? I think
that is why I've gotten into like this past year. I really got into like hunting, and like it's just so like like primal, and like I do respect that about rednecks is like they may be like a little lost in some certain ways, but in terms of just going outside and just going on like a 3-day camping trip and then finding a deer and then shooting the deer and then bringing it back in your truck and then skinning it and cooking it, like it's like you skip all like the factory farming, like chemical GMO bullshit, and you just get straight to like the pure like protein energy, and you're just like you have to get outside. There's no cutting corners with hunting really, like if you're doing it for real. I mean, you can be a rich guy with a feeder, but I don't do that. I go out and hike, and it's just
like the same thing with killing. If you eat meat, you gotta at least kill the animal once. Like I've killed the chicken or watch how they go, because it's like it's that element of it's awareness. It's like when you're aware of it, it gives a different muscle to it.
Oh yeah.
And so we were saying before about the ChatGPT. That's my only beef with any AI tech is like you don't realize the steps you're skipping until you look back and you go, I actually don't know how to visualize that.
Yeah,
because we gave it away.
Yeah, it's more that dopamine. It's like just getting like give me the full strength now, and none of the work, none of the growth that historically has been needed to get the payoff.
And
like,
it's
I just want all payoff all the time.
Yep,
and that's just what we're in now.
And
we're
it's
all
like,
just like standing in line, being like, I gotta wait for like 10 seconds. Fuck, my brain doesn't do this anymore. That's not the world. Like, I can even see over my lifetime, it's like how short. I just expect everything to be like catered to me instantly.
I'll be hounding down my DoorDash people like I'm some kind of fucking like imperial general sometimes. Be like, what the fuck? 5 minutes was 6 minutes ago, motherfucker.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Some of these people who like don't like hunt or experience that like process of life. Like if you just buy all your food from factory farming, or you're like vegan, and then they'll like judge people like, oh wow, you really need to like murder another creature and like kill it and like put it through all this pain. But then it's like if you're actually out there, it's like the exact opposite. It's like you see a family, you kill it, you're like, I love you so much. You're gonna nourish me for the next 6 months. Like I'm so.
And the animal had a great
you.
Day up to that moment. It wasn't in some friggin' slaughterhouse with machines.
You don't put yours in the slaughterhouse and let them loose.
Yeah. You put them in there for a month so they're sad. Then you kill them. It tastes better when they're sad.
Yeah.
But
I'm not a good shot.
Yeah. Especially if you're feeding them. Like I spent like $500 just on like getting corn, like the best quality corn. So it's like I fed like a whole family of does for like, like 2 months before I actually shot one. So it's like I gave them, a lot of calories. So it's like shit.
My wife, like all my brothers-in-law are hunters. Like she's not really a gun person, but she grew up with it, and that's been interesting just being around that. Because I kind of assumed like tacitly that like maybe you're gonna be racist or not, an empathetic person, but it's very surprised. Like they're more respect for nature. Like those guys, like they know the birds, they know the sounds, and they're not saying racist stuff either. So it's kind of like I kind of had that bias too, that like hunting culture was backwards, but it's actually kind of forwards in a way. It's like those are the people that are gonna be all right if the shit goes down. And like you were saying about giving gratitude, saying thanks God for this and that. Mm-hmm. Like there's more church built into like rural stuff too. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that they're doing.
And the processing, right. Yeah, the processing place I took it out, like Lake Watery, South Carolina. Like the biggest buck that year was like this big, like jolly looking black guy who was like smiling, and everyone was like around him, like congratulating him.
How many
like,
points was that buck?
It was like 8, I'm pretty sure. And like it was a massive buck, and it's just like it's not about the color. It's about just like the camaraderie of just like we're doing a hobby together. And it's like, yeah, those people didn't give a shit that he was black. They were just so happy for him that he got the prize buck, and they were just like surrounding this guy, and he was so like, yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
It'd be a good like photo.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder how much.
As you try to make it a photo moment, you kind of ruin it.
Yeah,
so
I don't. That's why I don't want
look how
photos.
inclusive we are. Never mind. Forget I said that.
Well, it's kind of a slippery thing.
It wasn't like that. It was just like very.
Yeah,
it's a slippery. It's a slippery thing. Cause I'm with you, but I'm always like aware that how any ism anyone has is always gonna be subtle things. It's never anything. You probably meet 1% of people who are like, I don't like these motherfuckers, and it's just like those are exceptions. Most of the time, we all have some of it. Shit, I got anti-black things that I got to work on. Same thing with misogyny. We all have it in different gaps. I think the problem becomes people don't want to question shit within themselves.
Yeah, you want to just be like, nope, I'm good, and, like, and then, push it, hide it. Shame other people that are doing the same thing as you.
And then it's tribalism. It's like where we are now is like we didn't put it into tribes and it's subtle. That's why I always like push back on little tribal stuff. Is I'm like, all right, what are we doing it for? Or it's like it's the thing I love about with black people growing up black, roasting. It's the beauty of roasting with people. It's
black
like
people are the best at roasting.
Because it's like you have to make sure the person around you isn't gonna sell you out. It's like if it like I'm light skinned, so I know I won't get light skinned jokes and like into the shit I'm into, I won't get like, yeah, this nigga ain't black jokes, and I gotta eat that because that's a part of the group. It's like you gotta be. It's like rich kids. It's like, yeah, you gotta get your ass roasted. Be like, shut up, rich boy. You don't know about no government cheese.
Yeah. And if you're growing up and that's like your survival mechanism, and people are picking on you, and you're having to like defend yourself, and then you're gonna get brilliantly funny. Like you're gonna connect the dots in your brain. And if it's a survival mechanism, like you can't be the one getting ragged on, and then because of that. Yeah, I do wonder. I do wonder how much of like the racism thing, like conspiracy land, but like can be like pushed by the media to, like you were saying, create more of a division and more of a tribal thing, and then be like, if you're on that side, then you're immediately a racist, and then it's like, it's easy. I wonder how much of that
fuels
is like,
interactions too.
Yeah, it's easier than the truth.
Like, I think big tech is more. I think big tech is more interested in just keeping its eyes on it, not so much like we're trying to pit people against each other. But that does end up happening because it's like fights are. You're gonna watch a fight.
On both sides, yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, like Twitter is like white kids jumping a little black kid in middle school, and then it's 10 black kids jumping a white kid. And then both sides are being like, look how racist these middle schoolers are now. And it's just like,
well, it's the engagement, because think about it. The truth, I mean, I did journalism in college, and I really fuck with journalism. It's what always made me respecting a lot of journalists. Like, actually, I just swiped me a Hunter S. Thompson book, mostly about a lot of his journalist writings, and like his thing on 9/11.
Let me get that after you.
It's good. His thing on 9/11, crazy shit. Because it's like the stuff of like truth is unsexy, and like the truth of something isn't gonna make anybody feel better. It's like even with racism, when I look deeper into a lot of the history and like cultural things, it's always some bullshit of like you just don't want to lose, or like someone's in power and position, and it's like even I think of stuff now where it's like giving up certain things for the perceived privilege of something. I'm always like, what are we looking for the perceived privilege of? Like people say, I want to be like this. I'm like, you just want to be a petite like warlord. It's like we all want that energy because it's what the power we've seen lashed out on us. And I think the harder thing is to like not do that.
Yeah, not do it back because it is kind of deserved. Do you guys believe in like generational trauma? Like the idea that like even if you were like taken to some palace where you're whatever, you don't, but like your ancestors. It's in you. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely feel like there's ways to work through that and get the trauma out. Because like I've been jumped by my close friends when I was like 17. I got like, really like traumatic shit happened. But that's why MMA is so good to get that out of you. And yeah. But yeah. Like you were saying, like that competition and comparing one another. Like I was reading about like when there were of course tons of plantations in the South, cotton plantations, and it would be like these white dudes that would meet for Thanksgiving and be like, oh, we made 160,000, like Ricky only made 120, and then Ricky's panicking, so now he's like placing these new minimums, and then they're having to like force themselves to become ambidextrous in order to get in like the 13-hour workday.
I never thought of ambidextrous. That's with slavery.
I mean, it was
I get it. That's hilarious.
That's what I was reading about, like in my history. Like I was like, yeah.
Sorry.
History major. Yeah.
But no, to what you're saying though, I think the generational trauma thing is there, but it's different than we think. I think of it like this: like with ants and animals and such, you can put them in different regions, and they will start physically adapting to wherever they're at.
Yeah.
We as humans, it's why we take so long to grow, is cultural. So for that reason, we have to spend more time learning the subtleties of the world we live in, which is why it's easy to look at another culture and say that's degenerative. But it's like, yeah, you live in that place. You would do rituals to ward off the snake spirit because them hoes kill like 40% of the people.
Animals are so adaptive. Like I remember listening to a story about like a Peruvian jungle where it was like this thick, dense jungle. So it was like these like deers that like, you know, grew up like eating the mush, and then it like flooded because of I think it was just like climate change or erosion. People cut down the trees, so then like the water level rose. So then these deers now had to swim across these like big ponds. So their lungs developed like a new way to like breathe like either under the water, right above the. I think it was like only in a couple generations. Like, they had to adapt like immediately.
The ones that didn't just died, and the ones that did thrived.
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 generations. I think that's what's crazy.
It was quick.
It's quick. It's quick. It's quick. It's
shit you think
like
about
that.
AI and all that, like our brains now. It's like, I mean, there's just massive, like even just in my life, there's just massive like
I feel
environmental and cultural shifts. So it's like I think we're doing our lungs and. Something's happening like that now, but we can't see what it is yet.
Yeah, definitely on the iPad. Like I saw a kid yesterday. He must have been 3 years old, and he was working that iPad like he was a damn rocket scientist. Like we just tap, all the tabs, all the everything. Like he was working it like better than my grandma. Like he's
He's like working better than us. Like
3 years old.
It's crazy.
They're just in it. It's like learning a new language. It's like it's so much easier when the brain is plastic and you're growing up. You're young. Like all that new word association. It's so much easier. That's why.
Yeah, you're just sponging it all up.
Yeah, once the brain becomes concrete at like 25 years old, like adding new.
Yeah.
Like it's
hard. It's hard. It takes a lot of, you gotta like train yourself to be open-minded, which is super difficult.
And embrace that like some of it is just kind of formed too. So I think hanging out in like arts communities and being out and around people is like probably the best thing I've found to be.
Yep.
Just kind of stay up on like words and culture and shit, you know? Like to me it gets in there more in person than it would.
Yeah, it also makes like your personal relationships better, like with your family, with your like romantic relationships, because then you're like you have this outside. Like if you're just in this echo chamber all the time, it's like you run out of shit to talk about, and then it's like you just go deeper into the same old like patterns. Like it's like no new fresh perspective is coming in, and like
and your algo is just like, this is what you like, so it's showing you the same shit too. Like it seems like the algo should be doing that. If it was more optimal, it would be like, hey, you haven't looked at plants ever, so why don't we do some plants?
My conspiracy theory.
That's China's algorithm.
That's my conspiracy theory is that's what's causing dementia. People just, because it's like I saw working with people with dementia for a while, you notice our patterns in America within how we do cultural like community and family are so predicated on like a hierarchy that when people start dying off, you make the younger ones fall in line. And what we've been seeing with so much technology and the internet is it's dissipating even that little bit of like camaraderie. And it's leading to a position where people's cycles or brains don't have as much capacity when they're older to keep those. I remember watching my great grandpa go from being pretty there to like stopping crosswords, and then that was when he was like,
yeah, I mean,
it's like that cognitive thing.
I can see like it's just over the horizon, that kind of stuff. Where like you're just at home, doing like you can kind of lose that, because I'm already like ready to just go fully into my own world of thought at any time anyway. So I think that's
we gotta get you some painting, man. You gotta make some music and paint. We gotta just get you to paint all the time. That's what we gotta get you.
Well, I mean, this is great for it, and I get people in here. We do the same thing without words. We do it with like instruments in here, as much as I can too. So I feel like that it does feel like it keeps it like the plasticity, but then you also have to accept that. Yeah, I mean, your shit starts to decay and rot, you know?
Yeah. And like, your mind, it does consume you. Like you do go internal. Like I worked with my grandma. She had dementia, and I would like after school every single day, I was like visiting her for 2 hours. And then she was super stressed. She was like, get me out of here. I hate this. Like she just, the fear of dying was just so overwhelming. So they started giving her like Xanax and like all this stuff to calm her down. Yeah. She was at like Deerfield in like South Asheville. And then so she was in there, and then once they started giving her the Xans, that's when she like just went insane. Basically, she would just start mumbling, and she would try to talk, but it was like these like chants, like these like crazy like, and then but yeah, she just totally went into her own mind and then went insane, and it's crazy to watch. Yeah. And the whole nursing home thing feels like really kind of sickly and sad to me. It's like you're trapped in this, like the last part of your life, like you're not with family anymore. You're like
statistically a heart attack's supposed to get me, and I'm like, what a great way. I don't want to go like soon, but like you're just like, oh, for a minute, and then you're done. Like versus that like slow, everyone you know is dead. You're in there. Whatever nurse people you got is like, they can treat you however they want. Who's gonna fucking believe you? So you get like a bad
Yeah, and
caretaker, you're all stinky
to go to
the
bathroom. They have to hook you up to like this like crane type thing where you strap in, because a lot of the people they're just sitting eating 3 meals a day, and it's like probably like crappy food, so they're just like super overweight, and then they have to like hook them up to this machine just to let them shit, and then it's like the nurse doesn't want to wipe well, so yeah, it's like,
it's bad too. So the movie on Netflix, I Care a Lot, that came out. All right, so I'm gonna be quick with this. I had read there's a documentary. If you have a VPN out there. It is a Canadian film, but it's a documentary about America, actually. But it's a guy who was talking about nursing homes, and the biggest scams that are happening is people are essentially putting old folks who have a lot of money. It's happening a lot in Las Vegas. They're putting them in retirement homes and bleeding them dry there. They're like feeding them drugs, so they start losing their mind. They're stuck, and then there's like so many weird bureaucratic steps to get to them that they're just kind of, and they're doing it to people without their families knowing. So like the kids will be like, I was looking for my mom, like I was out of town last week, I come back in to check up on her, she's out of her house and I can't find her, and there's no letters or anything, no recognition, and then she's been drugged and stuck in this place with no phone calls, and they're using that to transfer rights to people so you just keep all their money.
Yeah, that dude wasn't out of town. That dude was gambling, but
like, nah, it's like the stories are crazy. Like I'm saying it, but like when you read and look at the stories and accounts and talk and see these people, it's kind of like what's happening with people getting snatched off the street. It's that shit, but with older folk. And it's been happening for 6 years.
What's that drug movie from the 90s with Jared Leto and his mom? Like that. I'm trying to think of the name.
Requiem of a Dream.
Yeah, that's like, to me, I think of that. I'm so horrified by what happens to the mom, because she does like go in to get help, but then she's just run through this, machine. And as you get old, I think people do kind of like, they don't want to listen to you as much. So like your credibility, you're like, I'm being fucking assaulted. People are like, just get out. I don't want to look at a almost dead person. Just, that's kind of how we are culturally. And it's like,
there is a cool spot out in Swananoa. It's like literally like 2 minutes from Warren Wilson, but my mom and stepdad volunteer there all the time. It's called the Conscious Center of Living and Dying. And people will go there like when they're at their end of their life, and it's like this, like it's almost like a monastery. Like it's like all this, like just the energy in there is very like tranquil. But basically people go in there, they fast for 3 days, no food, no water, and they're surrounded by these like amazing like Buddhist like volunteer people who are like just like they'll do like a ceremony for them or like a guided meditation and just like help them go. And then it's just 3 days. You're done. Teleport into the next, I don't know if like reincarnation or whatever happens, and then.
Wait, what happens at the end of the third day?
They
like inject you with something?
No. I mean, most people it's 3 days without water, especially if you already have bad health conditions. But some people will be in there to 2 weeks. But it's just a way to just like
they won't die.
Bite the bullet now.
Kind of like what, like an old timey, like you'd probably go into the woods, or they probably had some ritual where it's
go
like,
out on your sword.
Yeah.
Just yeah. Which I respect it. That may be what I do.
That's what I want to do. But then I'm like, I wonder that week when it's like, if there's gonna kick in some like, no, I don't want to die, and then you keep like, I had a dog that got real old, and like I was like, she's probably gonna die one night, right? And they're like, that never happens. You have to decide. And she's just lying in her shit. She can't move anymore. But like eventually, I made the appointment several times and chickened out. Like when you know logically it's time for death. So hard to actually like pull the trigger.
You got to be ready.
Brave ass people that are going out and doing it,
but they're not going early. It's not like what you're saying. Like they're not like fully functional.
Quality of life is
they have like liver cancer. They're like they're in pain all the time.
Right.
It's not a light decision. It's like probably years and years of like, okay, it's time to transition. It's better to move on than to just be stuck here in this like very constrictive. Like we're stuck in our bodies. Like I had like an acupuncturist that told me like the human experience is the most dense experience. Like it's the most painful because we're like so confined. Like if you're like a butterfly or like a rabbit, it's a way more like psychedelic and elusive, and you don't have to be as like confined. Like we're so confined to the human experience, like by our bodies.
Am this,
right?
You're over there. Like I think the butterfly's probably like, I'm just part of the whole fucking
bitch. I'm breathing. I'm everything. I'm everything. The butterfly. I'm God. Ow.
Right.
Eaten by a bird.
Eaten by another part of God.
Y'all ever heard? This is a deep cut. There's a movie called, I think, Narayashima. It's a Japanese film, and it's kind of going this concept. The whole film is about...
Is it the animated one?
It's a live action. It's like an old 50s, 60s film. It's like essentially the whole premise is this old lady's got to, like, in this village in Japan, when they get to a certain age, the kids take the parents out to kill them so they can just go off. And the whole plot is about the son and daughter... with the son and mom, the mom's on his back the whole time talking shit, but he has to take her all the way up to this hill to like kill her off. So then it's like relationship, and it's like kind of this really hard conversation of like the cycle of life and death and like dealing with those kind of things. Because then they get to like another couple, like a parent and like kid who are having a lot of beef, and then at one point the kid leaves the parent there to not die, and it's like even worse than just killing them.
Right.
But it's like interesting because it goes in this concept of like, I mean, I always think back to like people we would call barbaric in some nature, and you look at their histories, you're like, oh. Yeah, actually, I see what was going on. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're just judging it with your own
perception.
Small, limited experience of what life is.
It's like the Klingons.
The Neanderthals. I watched a documentary of the Neanderthals on Netflix recently, and they were like teeth marks on the bones. Like there was like a heavy cannibalism. And so...
which makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. There's not any...
it's like where they were
There's not any farmland up there. You're not farming nothing.
No.
The animals are scarce. But I heard like a lot of the elders at a certain point, they would be like, okay, it's time to sacrifice. I'm giving my body to the tribe. Y'all can't eat me. And it's like a beautiful like recycling process.
Wow.
It's not like they see it as completely different. They don't see it as murder or like nothing like sadistic or evil. It's just all just like sacrifice. And I'm just going to give my body to y'all so y'all can go on. Because I am you. Like if you have ever done acid or mushrooms, you realize we're all one thing. So like.
What about crack?
What?
I'm kidding.
The opposite
what about my crack experience? I'm everybody's.
Everybody's.
No,
a little S on the end is
that's
everything.
That's the crack part.
I feel like crack is the opposite. That's why crack is so destructive. It's like, I'm the best. Like, I'm the only one. I'm the one
Yeah.
rocking out here by the bus station.
about to say.
Shouting, my ego, me, it separates you.
Right. Mushrooms is the exact opposite. I
That's
love everybody.
Melt into the
ether.
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think about like cells a lot. Like sometimes when I'm just lying there at night, I think deep in my generation, like I kind of remember being like a simple life form and fluid, and that like that's kind of you can see the outline of it. That's kind of like the first like, oh, there's a perimeter around me, and then that's evolved so far with consciousness to now it's this very like, even just the language and the tools we use to communicate are very like egocentric.
Yeah,
which is a hard thing to undo.
Language, like the English language is very like compared to other languages. You're like, what the fuck? Like people like that's why when people were like, oh, you can't speak English, it's like, bro, we barely can speak this shit correctly. Yeah. And then I hear people.
This podcast is proof of that.
Yeah, we everybody's.
Yeah,
with the Z.
To give some credit to the English language, like there's other languages like Korean where like it's built into the language structure where you can't talk down to the elders, you can't talk down to authority, even if they're being abusive or wrong.
Yep. That's interesting.
So that's why they have to train the Korean pilots to speak English in order for them to get their flying license, because like there would be a problem of running out of gas, but they didn't even have the language to tell the authority that hey, there's a problem, there's something wrong here. So they have to learn English for that reason. So it's like the same level of like you're allowed to have confrontation, you're allowed to like debate ideas, and in other languages it's just
the language really is the framework. I don't speak any other languages much, so it's like I can only think. Like I've had friends that are like speak lots of different languages, and it's like you're trying to think about something deep and you have 3 or 4 languages. Like you can get closer to what the idea is, because as soon as you start putting words on it, and I'm thinking in words, it's already like steered by the European decisions for the last 2. Like I'm limited by that.
That is such a trip that our whole persona, our whole identity is words created by somebody we've never met. Like every thought I have about myself every thought I've ever had, it was a word that I didn't create. And like, I remember like when I was on ayahuasca, my shaman Jorge was like, he only speaks Spanish, and I'm just like, words are so fascinating. It's just like a sound that the body makes that like relays like experience, and it's just like there's so many different tones and undertones. And
there's the type of words too. It's like my favorite writing, and the way I want to talk more is like the visual, like green grass, tree. But then there's like suffering or trauma. These words that are like these ideas that are I forget the word, but there's a difference between like visual, like concrete words, the first words, and then these like fancy words that are even more subjective to like whatever the fuck that means to you. Like even when I say green, it might be different, but we can kind of agree. But when I start talking about like love or something, it's like we're never gonna.
Dude, I have this conversation with color in class. Like when I'm teaching color to the kids for art, is interesting because certain words they don't associate with certain color meanings. So like for example, yellow can mean different things in different cultures. It can seem as like prosperity or wisdom. It can be seen as fear and pestilence. Purple's another weird one that's like, it usually gets the royalty treatment, but historically purple wasn't really a color like that. So it's like those different elements of these primary and contemporary or like colors that go with each other. It's just interesting because it's like everyone's meaning, or like black and white, for example. Black and white have such huge polar things, but they're very similar, and in some cultures they're just reverse.
Yeah, I did watch a YouTube video on that, on why purple is such a royal color, and it was just because like the lapis or whatever plant it was that created purple was just so rare.
Slugs. It was like slugs and plants.
Slugs and
plants.
Yeah. But yeah, that is
say that again.
Slugs,
like it was just the most rare type of just the hardest to come by color.
Like in nature,
to make
like
purple. Right,
okay,
right. Naturally,
that's why it's like royal is like gold or something like.
You have the rare thing.
Lakers, Lakers are a good example of it. Yellow and gold, but it's like gold and purple versus like yellow and purple.
Right. Yeah.
Even though it's yellow, you see the jersey like, bro, that's yellow, but it's like gold and yellow, gold and purple because they're both royalties like colors.
That's interesting. That is a fun thought experiment too that we would have. It's like maybe my green is your red, but we would just never know, and so you're just going by life and just being like, this is what it is what it is. But then, but then I do feel like colors do have like feelings associated with it. Like fire is like a bit of warmth, and like fire and like water is a little cooler and like more like. So
warm and cool.
But everyone has the two opposite. Everything's like yin and yang. It's like fire is warmth, but it's also destruction and hell. So it's like, and water, like, well, fuck, a tsunami will fuck you up, or like. That's what to me everything means like the two opposite things. I don't know.
Or it's like culture
far.
I think God wanted
like opposites are the same. Like what you said about black and white. Like they define each other. It's like
it's spectrum. It's a paradox. Like, where you looking at the spectrum of it? Because if I'm on the north side looking at the black and white, I'm like, oh, that's black and that's white. If you're on the south side, you got a different perspective. You're like, no, that's black and white. And then it's like now there's wars between two sides when it's like, well, if you stand over there, it does do this.
Got some Einstein shit there. It's like everything's relative to where you're standing.
Yeah, God definitely like loves paradoxes. I feel like because it's like what a like amazing creation. There's so much intricacy. He like I don't think he wants it to be simple enough for just to understand one thing. It's like once you finally think you have like a spiritual principle down, it's like it's the exact opposite. Like it's a paradox because it has to be like there's so much
the journey can't
going
end,
on.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like to make it through to the next level where you're like, oh fuck.
It's like the Hegelian dialect. Or like the idea, because it has to be like for what you're saying for a whole, it has to be an opposite to the base of it because it has to be complete. So that completion needs to have the space for the entire journey. And like to what you're saying, the Hegelian dialect is like people look at it as like a pendulum. It's a spiraling staircase because you start off as thesis, antithesis, synthesis, and then when you look down the staircase, you see hundreds of years ago it was like that. But you see the steps of how it evolved into this.
Just clouds and shit up there. You're like, I don't even know.
It
keeps going somewhere.
Yeah, DNA helix. That's just a spiral. It's like everything is spirals.
Yeah, the first time I did acid, like going into my freshman year, that was the one sensation I got. It was like this flow, like this loop, like everything would like
breathes.
Come out and then go right back in, like infinitely. Like everything comes out and goes back in. But what you're talking about the colors, like black and white, how it's like two opposites. I was listening to Alex Gray writing about like he got out of art school, and then he was like really depressed because his teachers were like, you don't draw within the lines enough. And then he did acid at his graduation party, and he said he saw the color gray in like these certain like forms, and something about it being gray, like the mixture between the two, he realized like, oh, this is the key to life. This is the point of life, is like mixing this and then having art. And then he also met his wife ironically that same night. They were tripping together and they're still together, like they're like in their 70s now, and they met in like it was like he was like 24, and then that was his big realization.
Gray is a beautiful color.
Yeah. He changed his last name.
Gray is the spectrum, right? Between the two, it's like that's one thing. Like there's all this fucked up shit going on, but I think in my life I've seen us like everything's a spectrum now, which that seems good. So in some ways we're like, when I was a kid, it was definitely more like black or white, and now it's like anything we talk about. And I do live in Asheville, so it's like, you know the problem? Then you get out with the people that can hunt, and it is a little more black and white, but that's kind of useful in that culture too. So I'm not trying to come out there and like preach to them about gray in their place.
I would disagree, only in the sense of like the spectrum always depends on where you're at. It seems black and white to us because our eyes haven't been trained to their gray yet. Because I feel like even with hunter folk, I saw this a lot. Yeah, different grays.
Gray is a spectrum.
Yeah, it's why like it gets hard. It's why like I like dealing with like interacting with a lot of different people, because there's some people who I'm like, I'll hang out with their group of folks and I'm like, I don't know if I like these people, and it's like I get the black and white, but over time I'm like, oh, that's a lot more gray than I thought. And you start noticing the little subtleties where it's like, oh, that's a lot more like this than eating.
Your friends' are always interesting to me.
Yes.
Like when you go to your friend's house and everybody else over there is like
a friend of a friend.
You're like, oh, all right.
Yep. I'm not the main one tonight.
Like you go to your friend who's like richer than you, and then their friends are like super rich, or vice versa or something. You're like, oh, okay. I don't know. It's all relative.
That was me. I was at a friend in college where I'm just like, oh, I'm broke as shit. And I meet up with a friend. I'm like, man, my boy got some money. And I'm like, this man broke as shit too. We both broke as shit. It's like they got another friend like a jet ski. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like what?
Yeah, it is stressful. Yeah, Yeah, that girl Alexandria that I brought to the show, like we really got blackout drunk. Like she told me after that was the reason she like had such an anxiety attack, because like to just like blend in and like do the hang with the comedians is like so stressful, especially for like a young person. And then like
she also don't have to. Like I'm an old head in the sense of like if you ain't gotta do nothing you don't want to do. Like I don't want no Diddy allegations.
Let's talk about the hang, because I wanted to circle back to that, because you were talking about how the hang is like you could really just show up for a few months and do the hang and probably get like what you needed to get start your, and it sounds totally true, but to me the hang has always been the hardest part. Like I still struggle like walking, and we were talking about this before you came, like I'll feel like I walked by somebody, I should have stopped, or I lingered too long. I mean, this is like, I love the small groups, and sometimes the hang will break off, so I think this is actually me trying to like work my way up to the hang, honestly.
Yeah, and in Asheville, I mean, sometimes it can be hard to find a hang. Like I'll show up to the Odd, 30 minutes early, and it'll just be like, two cokeheads just like playing chess or like, I don't know, playing Monopoly. And
they do play a lot of chess.
There's a lot of board games at the Odd now. A lot of Super Smash.
Also, to y'all's point, we are the three comedians who I think don't do great naturally at the hang. It may seem like it to some extent, but when I watch us at places, it's like we're kind of off on the outskirts, staring blankly, or like watching another conversation, or hovering around one where we're just like say yeah, and then go back to where we're doing.
I'm in the hang so much when I'm like, how do I usually stand, or like
yep.
But I mean, it's been like I've been doing it for 10 years, so that I am making slow progress at the hang and comedy. Like so, for me, it's like this long. I like the long, slow thing.
Yes.
Like I'm not I've never been a prodigy, and being a prodigy can be hard. Like there's something we were talking about earlier where I was thinking about like trying to get it all like in music, the people in high school, the people who are the best at music, like were good in high school, they all quit or got like it's hard to. It can almost be harder when you come out of the gate good, whereas when you're
I saw
like,
that.
But the best of the best are those that start early and stick with it. Like the Beatles
Chappelle or somebody. Right. That like
it's the ones that don't give up.
But I think it's a middle ground. I don't think I'm just always middle ground. I think
everything's about.
But I think it's a middle ground on what y'all saying, because I think of like people, because I was around a lot of guys, especially with hooping and like sports, who were like super bred for that. And they kind of burn out, and I'm seeing it with like AAU kids, with athletes now, where they didn't get the fullness of them, and the ones who are blowing up now, the ones who were like, I want to do that, but no one looked at me, so I just kept doing my thing, and now I'm here, and people see the skill. And I think the same thing with like comedian folk, where some of the best ones are the ones who are like, yeah, I had a life, or I was doing this and that, and it wasn't like just comedy, just that.
Yeah, that's why the worst thing for like. Well, but like a parent to do is to be like, this is my plan for my kid. He's gonna go D1 in football. I'm gonna train him every day. It just sucks. I'm so grateful my parents didn't have a path for me, like, and just like didn't have, because I would have just broke all those constraints, pissed them off, and just like. So you got to have that flexibility with kids. You got to let them find what they want to do, because like you're not the genius, you're not the ruler of the universe. So like you have to, your kids may be way smarter than you, like, and you have to just be humble and accept that like they may find activities that you don't even know about yet. Like my parents still don't know I do comedy, and like once I tell them, they're probably gonna be like,
they don't know you do comedy.
They don't know you do comedy. That's kind of crazy.
Cool.
To me.
Yeah. That's cool. You're just like feeling it out.
I live a
drop it on
life.
them.
Yeah,
I want them to not know I
live
really
need it.
When you really need it, you got it up your sleeve or whatever.
Right. Well, I'm just gonna drop it when I move and just be like, I love y'all to death, but I gotta.
I kind of like this energy. I like this secret. I ain't telling nobody. I don't know nothing.
I think you could be the Beatles too. I think you could be the 1% that come out of the gate, like starting young. You're like you're absorbing all these different information.
I don't even want to look at it like that. Like the last podcast, like you asked me, like, do you want to be famous? And I was just like, I don't like that. Is like a turnoff for me. What I would want is to have comedy that is introspective and like talks about society in a positive way. And then the only reason I want people to look at me is to hear the message I'm putting out. Like I don't want it to be about me. Like that's why I want to like just keep taking shrooms. And you got to deflate your ego.
Acid, not coke.
Yes,
that's the. You want to be Duncan Trussell, not fucking.
I don't understand
who's the
cokehead comedian.
Theo Vaughn, 10 years ago.
Of them?
Yeah.
To your point, I'm always like, bro, kudos to you for the acid. I'm too autistic for acid.
I mean, I haven't done it in a year, 2 years. Like, I'm taking a break, but no,
I can't. It's just everything is breathing. I'm like, this is too much information. I'm like, everything's alive. I'm like, I need y'all to go back to bed.
Yeah, you don't need to do it, especially if you're not feeling like you really want to do it. It's like,
Because you can do it once, and then that message will stay with you for 20 years.
There it is.
You don't need,
and that's what I think is cool about.
Once you have ego death, it's hard to go back.
Are more like you'll get the thing. Like before, the 60s when like Manson and all that horrible shit went down. Like acid, LSD was around for like a long time, and
Timothy Leary,
and it was like the most like you could get people to stop being an alcoholic. Like there was more success with that than like as far as like you have a trip, but then you still take the thing with you. Whereas a lot of drugs are like. you don't take the thing with you. It's the opposite. You need more, and now you need stronger, and now it's like it's just getting weirder. Whereas I think there's a real big difference, and that's why we need to lean towards like psychedelics should be in the weed stores. Yeah, you know, some version of it.
And that's again like
maybe I don't know. Maybe that
temples. We should have some like
they already have the mushroom gummies in the weed stores, but
they say they don't do anything.
Yeah, they don't.
But I don't know.
They do. It's not fun.
How many did you eat? How many did you eat? Yeah, I'm about to say there it is.
They do, but it's like a synthetic. It's sort of like doing like Delta 8. It's like it's close, but I don't like how much humans have altered it. It's a buffer zone in between because it's the synthetic version. It's not the real. I want the nature version. I want what God produced. I don't want what
God makes it better than people.
Humans always fuck everything up. They take the milk, they add sugar, they add it's
the rhizomes thing. We were talking about rhizomes earlier for you guys here. What rhizome is like, that theory of that is like the connection of things. With the mushroom, you're getting that is the information of life from the past. If you're chopping it up and using it into powders to put into tinctures for candies and stuff to sell at mass market, you're probably getting thousands of little interactions of many different realms versus an actual real experience made for you.
Yeah,
and I think that's the difference.
That shit is the neural network of the earth, literally. Yeah,
of the earth.
Like the oldest, smartest fucking shit.
But you're getting random cache of info. They're like, hey, here goes a bunch of thousands of Instagram images, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, y'all heard about the train system in Japan where it's so fungi are so good at finding the most efficient route. They made a replica of their train station, and then they made the most efficient route. And but going back to what you were saying. Like,
say that again.
Oh, this is cool.
So like they created a replica of the entire underground train station in Japan, and they're like, we need to find a way to just save money, make it more efficient, find the fastest route.
They let fungus.
They dropped the fungi, and then
do
the fungi
algorithm for them
into a small thing,
and it created
fucking awesome.
Like the most efficient way to get through the train track.
Dune, like riding the worms or something, Like we don't have to build a robot worm. We'll just
ride the goddamn worm. Also, them modeling their trains off animals, like the way the front of it is built like a bird beat to break the wind and still keep the speed.
Yeah.
That's all little stuff that I'm like, we can do this shit.
Yeah. Someone was telling me recently, I think like the liver, like a lot of breweries like replicate like the liver and just in the way it does synthesis or something. I could be getting that wrong with the liver, but it's like, it's so true because whoever made the human body, like the organs and that person was definitely a genius. That person is definitely omnipotent and knows everything. So humans should be looking at what God already gave us to then build off of. But yeah, what you were saying, like, I heard the oldest profession was like being a shaman, like doing these like trips and guiding people through experience. But I think like a lot of that got fucked up, like you were talking about with the Masons, because like the pharmaceutical, like the Rockefellers, like I think it was 1909, they made sure that you couldn't have any like natural homeopathic, like acupuncture, Chinese medicine.
Pagan.
Yeah, because they wanted everything to be pills. They wanted everything to be like the Sackler family. So the whole thing with Mason is like he was in probation, or he was in jail, and he was like, I love it here. Like this is my place. I feel safe. I don't want to go out. They pulled him out, and then he violated probation like 9 times, and then they just kept letting him get away with it. And then the dude at that facility, the Smith, it's a facility in LA where they were doing like the LSD test, but like a dude in there was like a part of the FBI, like undercover, and then he like it was all just this grand plan to just demonize like LSD, and then but the thing is they weren't even on acid that night. They were on coke. Like that's why they were so numb. I just watched a like Netflix documentary like about the Mason murders, and like that's what they were saying. They were just so numb. Like they could have done anything, and it wouldn't have made a difference because they were just so wired, so out of it. And then they used that whole thing to demonize the hippie movement and the psychedelic movement. And, like,
well, the hippie movement is interesting because we always make it as like peace and love. When there was a lot of hippies who were robbing banks and blowing things up, and I'm like, that's the cool shit. Also, did y'all know LSD was an accident? It was like a farming accident. Yeah, that's
Hoffman. Is that the bicycle?
Hoffman, yes.
Where he like he took a little like it's so much less than any other drug. Like it's so little, and he felt like euphoric. So then he went back another time and took like what would be a normal amount of anything else, and
it was like what
thought he was gonna be crazy forever, and rode the bicycle.
Yeah, he rode back on his bike, rode the bike, and then he got off his bike and laid on the grass. Yeah.
But no, to what you're saying with the pharmaceutical stuff is the element of it's shortcutting. It's like what we're getting at is like we shortcut a lot of stuff. I mean, movements,
it's profit motives too.
But even with like movements, and it's back to the cultural thing of like we shortcut shit, which isn't harmful in the moment, but it becomes harmful 30 years later when it's like, wait, we don't know how this happened, or like
all this was built on fucking matchsticks. You know?
Yes.
And it's like when you realize that you're like, wait, so somebody thought the next people, or my favorite, that's why I hate when they're like, the next generation got it. I'm like, quit giving these motherfuckers all this damn pressure. They say, hey, you gonna change the world next week, little boy. It's like, he doesn't need to.
Yeah, let them have a childhood. That's what I tell my kids. Even if we all die in 10 years, like, do have a good childhood. Don't spend your whole childhood just being like the fish and the plastic. It's like, yeah, that's real. But
that's
also,
the stress.
Yeah, I read Michael Pollan's book about
How to Change Your Mind.
And that's kind of like how I know sort of the chronology of like LSD and stuff like that, and how that
makes sense.
like in South America and places like, yeah, they were the shamans and the mushrooms. Like that was a really like mature way of like coming of age and working through shit in your life. And then like the Europeans came over and just like, smashed them all on the head and like burned anyone that like you would be severely made an example of if you did any of that, because it's like pagan and it's not God. It's like, man, people had that, like you're saying, there's like this more wisdom. We're kind of de-evolved in these ways.
That was the whole thing about like the Salem witch trials, is people think that those witches, like the frogs are representative of the DMT frog, and then all the potions and tinctures and the cauldron, that was just her mixing like hash and these like opioids. And then they say the broomstick imagery is from like this like vaginal like stick they would use. They would put all the opioids and hash and DMT on the stick and then like inject it vaginally, and then like that's where the broomstick comes from. So there's like all these depictions. And my theory is one of these like witches, or I wouldn't call them witches, I would call them shamans or like medicine women, and they gave it to their husband, and I bet he had ego death and he freaked out because he's probably like, a racist, crazy person and trying to survive.
Head of the household.
Yeah, Plymouth, Massachusetts. And he's just like, and it just destroys his whole religion. And instead of just accepting that, hey, maybe I should break down these walls and barriers I've created within myself, he's like, no, she's the problem. Yeah, burn her.
Church is community. It's like that's the place you go. That's your whole social life too. So you're in this system, and you're like, I got to choose between some. I'll be burned as well. You know what I mean?
Then also, it's power. It's always power. It's like whenever you look at like Salem witch trials, the people who authorize it were always the people who are like, no, I don't want my daughter doing that shit. Or it's like, I don't want my kid. Or like, they gonna say my son did it and some shit. It's always that. I mean, same thing with like the Nazis, and every group is always like the people who are like, the ones who authorize are the motherfuckers who are just like, what about the power I have? And the ones on the ground are the ones who are like, bro, what are y'all doing freaking out about this for? We've been doing this for the longest.
Yeah, a lot of
it's only threatening when
it's
like
now. Beating up a gay person because you're worried you might be a little gay. Like I think that's really real. Like after the Me Too stuff, when it was like really super, just like men should be like, the people that I saw the most around me being like, let's burn the men who are bad, are the ones that pulled me aside and said a lot of sleazy stuff to me. You know what I mean? It's like there's this tendency to like, I've got this evil in me that I'm afraid they're gonna get me, so I'm gonna
destroy everyone else.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
you hit him on the head. Even with the Me Too.
I don't know if I'm changing the topic or we're just in free. We're all one at this time of the conversation.
There was an example of that. I'm pretty sure it was like Texas, where it was like this super homophobic lady trying to like crack down on all like the LGBTQ stuff, get rid of the rights, like make the laws more restricted, make it illegal to get married there. And then she got caught doing a fucking threesome. She got exposed in front of everyone, and then she got called out in court and like at like a courthouse, and then she was like, well, I don't even know what her excuse was, but it's just like, it's very hypocritical.
But it's wild. But it makes sense. It's like the thing I'm always like, it makes sense. I think it's bitch made, but it makes sense. It's this thing where it's like, oh, because you got to cover your ass. It's like, it's why I used to hate all the time with jobs. Cover your own ass first. I'm like, if I fuck up, I'm gonna tell you I fucked up. I don't have that kind of ego to be like, oh, I gotta be nigga, it's work. Like, we here to work. I'm gonna fuck up. That's the point of work, is I'm not gonna be good at it. You gotta teach me how to do work. Or same thing with like socially, where it's like when people fuck up socially, going over lines and stuff, it's like, yeah, I work with kids. Most of these motherfuckers' parents can't do this stuff. So when people fuck up, it's like, hey, own up to it, acknowledge it, work on it. Would that be you in 3 years? If you're doing the same shit in 3 years, it's like, all right, you're not growing. But it's like the element of, we don't give space to let people fucking heal.
Fail, yeah.
And grow up. Because it's like, you got
heal, fail, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like too many people. I see it with kids now where it's like everyone's afraid to do shit because they don't want to be wrong. And I'm like, I hear that. But then it's like that. It's that middle nuance ground of like, well, just know yourself. If you always saying some wild shit, just don't say some wild shit. If you never say wild shit,
that's what comedy is, the way to get to that faster.
Like, the comfort zone is it's the worst.
You figured out your first year of comedy, something that would have took you 10 years.
Yeah. Yep. And the crazy part. Yeah, the crazy part is like y'all are like, oh, you started pretty young or whatever. Like you have like, potential to develop and grow. But for me, it was like 6 months of my my junior year in college, where I had my one set every night, and I wanted to go up. Like, everything in my soul was like, this is your life journey, this is what you need to do, and I just couldn't fucking do. Like, I had to stay in my comfort zone. And for me, it became, I'm gonna go to the top of the A loft and jump off, or I'm gonna go to an open mic. And it was like, I'd rather do comedy than be dead. I swear.
Not the A loft.
I swear.
What was the day you went to do it the first time? What was the? Where were you at? How did you get to?
I mean,
if you're sitting there not able to do it that many times, like what was the?
It was at Static Age records. It was actually my sophomore year of at Warren Wilson, and I went up and like I had like this like really supportive like girlfriend at the time, and I had like these like 3 black dudes who I just like were so funny. We would smoke weed every night, so I just like had all this like energy and like
I'm laughing because that's my comedy. Me and my boys on the phone like,
pretty good.
Hey man, talking shit, playing video games. Yeah,
that good juju. So I showed up to the Alley Cat, and I would go to like Alley Cat like once a week and like do my set, and like I built up some momentum, and then it's like everything came crashing down. I went to jail on 2 tabs of acid. I just like I felt like my life was over, and like because like the fear constricts you, and it's like all my dreams in one night just got taken away from me because now I'm on probation. My dad's a lawyer, so he's like freaking out. He's yelling at me. He's like, you better go to law school or you're gonna be a failure, like you're gonna get kicked out, like I'm not, and like all this stuff, all this pressure, it just like consumed me. And then I just had to like just like go through that torture of just like not doing the thing I love for so long. I was still writing like just to like keep that momentum, but it's just like there's nothing more painful than not going after your dream and chasing it. It's like,
hey, just know we love you. All right. Also, but this kind of shit is like, this is why I like asking people. I like this kind of shit, like the deeper question. This is why I hang out with a lot of people. Is I like deeper, intimate things, and hearing shit like that.
For it,
hearing that is like, it makes sense too, because it's like, it's why you can get really driven what you're doing, because it's like it's like when you have a stain on yourself or something, you feel like you have to work 3 times as hard, or you just give up 3 times as hard to be like, fuck everyone else, they don't get it. And what you're trying to do is hard because like you're younger. It's little things. It's why like I don't judge people based on their appearance or even the shit of what they're doing. It's like I look for like, okay, what is the inner line? See, this is from One Piece. I learned this from One Piece. It'd be like, all right, I got to read between the lines sometimes. I can't just judge motherfuckers. Be like, I hate that nigga. Then it's like, actually, I'm kind of like that person, but like that element.
Oh, that's usually what it is.
That's usually why
I'm
you
really
hate them.
upset at somebody. There's something that's
same thing.
It's me being like, I'm worried I'm gay, so let's be,
fuck you, man. How dare you come up here with that beautiful set of eyes?
But I mean, that's what you said about like being so like not chasing your dream and know it. I mean, that's all I want to be around is people like that. And the cool thing about the comedy scene and stumbling onto this like in a later phase of life is like, there's a few people that'll come out and maybe not be that way, but in general, it's like just everyone's like gets that. So you're just around that energy, and that's going to just make you. Whereas if you're around people that are, just, well, I don't think most people really are thinking that way. So you're in rooms with those people being around that energy, and it's going to sap you.
That was my problem.
Yes,
I was at Warren Wilson, and I had all my old friends, and I was just like stuck in this like thing of these people just being complacent. We're just gonna get like this mediocre job and then just marry some girl you're half into and then just live and die. And then
Warren Wilson does that. It's funny because they get a lot of like, oh, they're so different. And I'm like,
they're the opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting to hear you say that. That was not your experience.
Yeah, I told my friends I want to do comedy and all this stuff, and they're like, you're not funny. And then just like all this just like negative energy of just like, no, you're not gonna do that. Just stay here in Swananoa and just like
you're threatening them, you're like,
yes,
you gotta stay down here with us because I don't want to see you.
They were trying to just keep me down.
How you gonna succeed without us?
And they did. And then it's like you just have to just clip that and fly, like just clip that and expand and just rise above that. Not to say, I mean, I still reach out to those people. I'll call them all the time, but we're not best friends anymore because
you're not trying to spend every day around that energy.
Yeah. Can I ask you this?
I've had to do that too with some people. Yeah.
Can I ask you this? Are you happy with yourself?
I love life now. Okay. Yeah. Life is so great.
I ask these. I know they're stupid questions.
That's like gratitude, right? That's
exactly.
You don't just get there.
You don't just get there.
Like, you come back to that every day.
Yeah.
It's the journey. It's like going to the store is one thing, but when you think about all the escapades before I got to the store, makes the whole. That's the comedy.
Yeah. We are blessed just to have such like a soulful, fun, like just to have an open mic. Like 99.9% of humans just don't have that simple experience of expressing yourself on stage, no restrictions, no boundaries, no rules, and like we're so blessed to have that 4 days a week. It's my food, it's my water.
I need these people too so they can get it, because a lot of people, I think that's the thing about art that's frustrating too, like you're saying with jiu-jitsu and stuff, is like if you don't do it, it's easy to not think about it versus watching and going, like I was thinking about comedy where it's like that's why I love when y'all go up, is noticing, oh, you must be a little nervous today because you were a little quicker than usual, or like, oh, you were way too calm up there. It was some of the beats where I'm like, damn, you still doing this joke, where it's like it's working, but it's like, okay, you up there just like,
I think I'm gonna start a podcast. I'm not even joking. I'm gonna get you to send me.
You should do it.
The camera and the microphones.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk after.
I would be happy to help.
I appreciate it.
You have any experience editing stuff like in software?
I mean, I
like the energy.
You'll figure it out.
I grew up doing iMovie.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to go to this point.
I'm about to say,
I use minimal. I use minimal tools. I don't have a million drums on my drum kit. I don't use a lot of pedals. I build everything minimal because you get stuck in editing forever. It kills you. Like I'll have this up probably tomorrow.
Oh fuck yeah!
So it's just like raw, real, all one. When I started it, I was trying to edit it. And it took a lot of time, and I hated it. And then they turned out worse.
What are you editing out?
Exactly. I'm like, why am I choosing?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then the guest is like, "Oh, you took out my best story."
Yeah. Well, that gets tricky too because I clip the reel, and it's like I have to make a decision for what it is. And I think people are always like, "That's the moment you picked." I'm like, I gotta pick a fucking moment. Like
they can't get upset.
It's never gonna be your moment. But,
also,
I am trying to make a reel that looks good.
Well, that's what I like about this pod and how you do it is like we as comedians can be naturally inclined towards ego because you're on stage doing everything by yourself. It's it's kind of, so it's easy to like.
I struggle with ego big time.
It's funny because it's like you're giving up power. It's like even being on a pod like this, it's like you're giving up power for what you can and cannot choose. It's like you can sit up here and try to be buttoned up, but it's like it's not gonna be an interesting podcast episode or like even to stuff like that where you're on stage you have to have a bit of ego, but with doing these kind of things, it's like you're working together in the group and it's all just like hands off, let that bitch go. Like
I've learned to like now in recent episodes I'll put the mic down lower because that reminds me. I get excited and I start interrupting. I listen back and you're saying some brilliant thing and I'm like, I know, right? And I'm like, fuck, man, CJ was about to get to the thing.
That's me right now.
So I'm learning. Like it's just like stand up. I'm getting more relaxed in this. Just the reps of it. So I'm starting to like try to put it down.
Yeah, I was wondering if you held it low. I was like, does it pick up from down here? Because
no,
this is making my bicep hurt. All these years of working out, my bicep still no. I'm fine.
I was gonna ask you, what are you gonna do your pod about?
I don't know. I mean, that was just a whimsical idea, but I love this concept.
Just do it. It's like stand up. Just get up.
I don't have a room.
First set.
Fuck it.
Just
I will
get the
do
fuck
it
on stage.
out of my car.
Yeah.
Well, I swear to God.
I'm asking because it's like I've been thinking about pod stuff too, and there's one I always like watching. My mama says if y'all ever see that one, it's these comedians and they just sit around asking people their favorite conspiracies. And they just spin episodes.
I heard of it.
Talking about crazy shit.
It's
comedians, so it's like weird little shit. It's like stuff your mom would say, like little dumb stuff like, don't do that, you'll turn like this. And you're like, what the fuck does that mean? And it's like running with that bit.
Yeah, like random stuff. Like
random
that's like when I started this, I would like have written about both of you and gotten prepared and been like, so who are your influences? And then we started, as I got more relaxed, we started to veer off into like things I never would have dreamed we'd even hit on. And those were clearly the best parts. So I'm like, I need to remove my ego from this whole interview style, this classic interview style into like, it's an acid trip. It's like we're the butterfly where it's like we're bleeding into one and it's the messiness is where the good stuff comes from.
Yeah. And you need time. You need like that space to like let it like, because there's so much stress and anxiety when you're at a bar and it's like people are coming in and out of the conversation and then you're like, should I go to the bathroom? In the back of your brain, you're like, I'm not talking enough. I should just go to a different group. I should do this. I should do that. You never know when it like
then you go not talking
the conversation's going to end and then this person. So like, it's just such a different, like you need that like intentional, like just sit down. It's just
it's a jam because we get in the same walls and we like I used to be like songs like play some Beatles songs. I wrote a song, hear the chords, and then as I've gotten older it's like just start making fucking sounds and don't even discuss. And it's like wow, like it's more brilliant when my ego is like I've like just arrived at this in like recent years, and that's kind of what this is with words is we're just kind of like I don't know, get some interesting people and sit there and record it like the more I try to plan, the worse it tends to be.
That's interesting. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
This room has a good vibe. Like rooms hold energy, and so like the fact you're doing other creative things in here is like a part of the process.
It's getting in the sound gets in the walls. I mean, that's like sure. It's like I think that's scientific. But the sound waves like you can feel the vibrations of the conversations, definitely. And each time it gets a little stronger. We're adding to it today. It's going to be some of this energy is going to be here for the next one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Can I share a fun fact with y'all about the walls?
Yeah.
Someone was telling me recently. I picked up this blind couple from Waffle House doing Uber, and they were like, "Thank God you pick us up." A lot of people just pull up and then drive away because they realize we're blind. And I was like, "Okay, who are those assholes?" First off,
wait, what?
But second off,
blind.
Yeah, I gotta get out the car and help. What the fuck? That's my problem.
But I got him in my car, and I was like, "So like what's it like being blind? Like, is it like the stereotype true of like one sense, your other senses are heightened?" Okay. And they were like, "Yes, like we've been blind for like 20 years. We can't see, like fully blind." And they said they're so good now at doing it. They can hear where the wall is going to be and hear where like a space is opening up.
Bat echolocation.
So like, they never run into anything because they can hear whatever the frequency of the wall is. And then they can like know where the doorway is because like they can just sense where the expansion in space is, and that to me is
dude,
so
you're speaking my language, because like
the
drums, like you could plug a guitar into a tuner and you could just turn the pegs and it'll tell you when it's in tune. But tuning drums with the 2 heads and the 2 sides and all the different lug nuts and it's so like that unnameable thing you're talking about. And then you get them tuned in here, and then I take them to a brewery and play, and I hit the kick. It's an entirely different instrument because of the sounds. Yep. And it's like, I'll never get all the way to solving that, but there's something like, I almost think about comedy in that way, where it's like, it really is sounds, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And the space in between what the comedian says to me is everything. Like, that's like just as much. Like Chappelle is like, I could listen to him read the paper.
Right.
I don't care if he's offensive shit. Like, I'm just like, he's like Miles Davis. Like, he has there's a level of it where it's just sounds and tones, I think.
Yeah.
Like, you could almost trick somebody that it doesn't understand the language into laughing if you had the tones.
It's what I love about
You just want to like microdose friendship. I feel like that's what people want. They just want like you to be their friend for a little bit and just like talk to them as you would have known a friend, and like, yeah. And you like have the hang from being like a comedian. So you usually do have friends that are more fun and funnier than the average person, so they get to come into your zeitgeist for a little bit and just live in that free space.
And then your non-comedian friends start trying to tell you funny stories, and you're like, this is...
Come on, man. What's the premise? What's the premise, goddamn?
Get to the fucking lap.
Get to the premise. Yeah. What's your setup, huh? Ain't no fucking setup. That's the punchline's ass.
Yeah. Yeah, those slow, like, getting to the point, like, yeah, that'll happen to me a lot. I'll be in a conversation. I'm like, dude, okay, like, is he getting somewhere with this? But I also respect that, because that means...
He's not.
No, yeah. But there is something about that. People
you have to ask.
Yeah. But like, that's who I am. Like, I'm just like, when I'm in a conversation, I'm awkward. I'll just hit a quick one-liner, a quick offensive one-liner to just get the pressure off of me. And like, I got my little zip in. Because like, for me, just
this
like,
makes sense too, goddammit. How many times I talk to you, I'll be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This makes sense.
I have to get something out. Because for me, like, holding that long form, like holding court is just like so awkward for me. Like, and when I'm like standing in a bar, so like, that's why something like this is just so beneficial.
I agree with you on the bars thing, because I feel like whenever I like smoked weed or gone out places, is usually at a bar because of the overstimulation. And to what you were saying with the drums thing, scientifically, I think an article came out last year. It's like a science article, but it was like an essay, I think, but it was saying how like everything is in vibration, because that's what it is. It's like within the math of entropy.
Yeah, if you go in small enough on the quantum level, it's like it's just it's in this dimension, it's in that one, right? It's all a vibration.
You're a new person every 7 years. It's like your cells will rewrite and everything. And I think those elements are super interesting, because like you're saying with the walls and like the space, and even to the blind thing. I remember, what's that NPR thing people used to love, This American Life? They had an episode about the kid who could use echolocation, and he would do that while on his bike driving around. But it's like that element of like, because he used to climb all the time, and when he lost that, he turned to like this, like just how he would change his life to fit that. Because the story was like these 2 blind kids. One of them was freshly blind. The other one was like, I'm blind. Everyone made fun of him for being kind of feral, because he would just do stuff on his own. And he didn't care about social, so he wasn't trying to put up amends and be like, hello, y'all, normal kids. He would be like,
yeah,
fuck it up, and like crawling around stuff. And people are like, yo, this kid's a wild child. And they're like, nah, he's just living. And that gave him that lesson, the other kid that lesson.
He's beatboxing for his spirit angels.
Yeah, just bop, 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 bop to the top. He over there playing hide and seek, just like, I got him.
Yeah. That level of freedom, it must be like you're just wasted all the time. Like you just don't care because you can't see anyway. You're just like, let it rip, you know.
Fuck my face. Go make out with me, nigga. What's up?
Someone was saying something fascinating to me that I never really like considered, but like it was that girl was talking about like how much social media makes you insecure, and like humans never really saw their face unless they got like a glimpse through like a creek or a river.
Right.
That concept to me is crazy.
In the water.
Like you don't even know like what your personality, what your identity is.
Yeah.
You're just like, so then you don't have any of that. Like
you know what's crazier?
Yeah.
That middle ground before social media, in which your face was everywhere on tabloids. Britney Spears. I think you and I were talking about this. Like, no, it was I think someone else, but we were talking about Britney Spears, where it's like, yeah, her life is fucked because like your whole life is pictures of you from unflattering angles all the time. Like when she was in the tabloids, is it like younger and just like you get photos of Britney like.
Talking the Disney days?
Yeah, like the Disney, like before.
Are you talking about the one where she had her panties off and she
like
she definitely, that was on purpose.
But like before that, like right around that era, because same thing with all those like tween starlets from like Disney, is like before social media got bigger, like the 20-teens, it was there, but it wasn't as effective until like 20-teens became selfies. Like remember the selfie stick was like a fucking huge, that's a huge invention for people.
And the mirror, how old is the mirror? Like that was probably a big one. The mirror was like the Fire. Fire is the first internet TV technology, but the mirror was the first like like I'm not the butterfly anymore. Probably like the butterfly is just like the place where the wings meet the air is like.
I'm still my smart water.
I'm sick as fuck.
We actually got to wrap up soon too because I have a meeting, a work meeting. Believe it or not, we clocked over 2 hours.
Oh wow!
So, but I feel like we. I keep wanting to
balance out. Yeah,
but I'm just like I know that we are. It's like it keeps being so good. Where I'm just like fuck. Like the next thing's probably gonna be even better.
To be honest with it, it's funny with the stuff. I realize it's the second time I've been on the pod. It's like the weird connection will be like this mind, body, spirit thing has been a hilarious combination.
The themes that'll come back with certain people, and then like different matches. Because I mean, to me, this is like for 30 years I've been having like, oh, you play guitar, you play bass, let's get over and see. And then now we're doing it's just like
that is
get rid of the fucking instruments.
It is.
You just do it with your voice,
right?
Like, and to me, that's like way more psychedelic.
Yeah,
we're not even holding like tools. We're just it's just your soul fucking just making sounds.
That is so cool to think about how a different conversationalist, like, oh, he's a drummer conversationalist, he's a guitar, he likes to rock out. Like they like to be more subtle, maybe play the piano, like
complimentary.
That's a crazy way to think about conversation. Is they're like playing an instrument and they have their own, instrument talent.
What instruments will we be then?
I feel like you'd be a flute, like a nice little like calm like.
Wait, what genre of music we playing in?
Just like relaxing out in the woods. Okay,
I'm about to say,
I can definitely see some wind instruments, but you kind of led me there, so I didn't get a clean like.
I felt saxophone. I can see it. What's the wind instrument?
I think percussion. Like I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, I play a lot of stuff, so I mean, I kind of don't think of people as necessarily being a certain instrument. It's like you might have one personality comes out on drums. Like you're supporting, right. You're the foundation of the house. Your role is to support this songwriter, but then there might be another song where you step up and it's like, all right, it's gonna be my ego and the mic. And comedy is just all. That is the interesting thing you're saying. Like comedy is so ego. I mean, just the idea that like I'm holding a fucking mic and I'm loud and it's all of you, but then trying to do it in a way that's still like, they need a friend for the whatever you microdosing friendship. Like it's the ego, but it's that two opposite thing where you're also trying to like dissolve your ego so that to give them what they want. Because they're not gonna laugh if you're just like I have some me.
Fuck you.
It has to be about them, even though you're talking about you. It has to be about them. To them for them to laugh. I don't think people actually laugh at anything that's not about themselves.
True.
You have to talk about your shit in a way that is them.
Definitely
Very true.
That makes a ton of sense. Yeah, relate to them. Yeah, and I would say the thing with the ego, like I would almost say when I bomb, like I feel worse than if I just never started comedy. Like it's so humbling for my ego to bomb still. Like that's why I still enjoy bombing. And
it's fun watching you though. Like at the I mean, you were not bombing at the Austin show, but it was.
You were in your head.
You were a fish out of water, because
it was just so much
new. You haven't done like probably a ton of like just weird places that are not really suitable.
Never done an outdoor venue.
So to me, it's like watching you go through all that was like just as fun as watching you kill. I'm like, I wanted to see more. That's just interesting.
Yeah,
and up there like, fuck. It's like this is hilarious. This is great. Like, I just want to see that.
Actually, every time I bomb like that, I have notes app and I have like tips and tricks written down. So like every time I have just a failure of an experience, I write down like 3 things I learned from it. So I was like, 1, never let your phone die because that's where your notes are on. 2, time your set every time. 3, time your set to make sure. I was just like, oh, it'll probably be 10, and it's just like, I'm just working somewhat now, but like, and then also, I was just bringing somebody new, like bringing a guest. It was just like so many new stuff outside, playing heckling, and it's just like sometimes it's just the perfect storm. But I try to always get something out of it, learn a couple new tips and tricks, and like. Yeah,
I was gonna ask you then, because like I've noticed this. I know since Tuesday, me and Austin went out to the mic in Tennessee. Oh goddamn, that was hard. Cause
Knoxville or
or like Bristol.
Okay, yeah.
And it was funny because I thought Jason Real did best. And it's kind of like I respected his comedy even more, noticing how he has his stuff set up to be like, oh, even if the room isn't filling it, he's still doing good.
He's like amazing at like not being phased. Like it is not. He's
impressive.
Yes. He's never gonna make that one stray. Like I guess you guys didn't like that one.
Yeah. See, I realized on stage when I was up there, I was like, oh, my bombing is me being like, y'all not feeling this. And I was just like joke like just.
That's my unforgivable sin. I'll still. It's less than it's ever been. It's quieter, but I'll be like, okay, no takers. I'm like, that is the thing that I will shame myself for.
Yeah.
When don't tell them it's going bad.
That's me bombing.
Yeah. Why am I telling them it's not working? That's so fucking stupid.
Or being like, I'm a fucking idiot.
And it's just the weak part of me coming out, like spilling into like you're up there trying to present, and it's like, but you gotta like that's part of it. Like now you got that list because you felt all that. Like there's it's on the other side of it. There's some good.
Yeah, I can tell yours because like you get in your head and you're just moving quick. It's like you're moving to the steps, and it's like a mechanical thing. Versus sometimes where it's a bombing and someone's like, I'm gonna try anything, and you start seeing that, you're like, oh shit, they jump into any jokes. It's like, oh fuck, they're cooked right now. Yeah, you can see it.
I wish I could do it. Yeah,
slow down when you're bombing.
Yeah. That's it. Like you
and when you're killing, slow down.
Yes, always just.
That
slow
was
down.
a Ron White quote one time.
Yeah,
always just slow down.
Yeah.
Because that's my tendency is you start getting nervous. You're like, I'll just talk more, and it's like that. Then it starts receding. Then it's just so far that you're just done.
I was going to ask for topics. And like when the plane went over, I had like a little quip about like, oh, maybe hopefully there's no Muslim. Just like some little like like thing.
Just a fun little Muslim.
I was mad when me and Austin saw him, like his eyes rolled back when he saw the play. And I was like, oh, he lost it. then when he told me that, I was like, oh,
that's where my brain wanted to go. But like because I've been canceled in the scene, it's like I have that like hesitation. Like if I was in Florida, I probably would have let it rip and just have like my natural thing come out, and then it probably would have helped. But yeah, I was gonna ask for topics. That's what I respect so much about Jason, is he just asked for topics, and then every topic that came up he murdered, and then it's just that risk because like he's so good at saying that. Him and Isaac, I think, are two of my favorites who can just sit in weirdness.
Yeah,
and just be like
Isaac, master of the silence. Yeah,
the space in between words. I'm always like, this motherfucker is like. Last night I was like, I gotta go after him. I'm like, fuck.
From the very first set too, and like he'll do like, and he has anti-charisma with his like the thing like public speaking 101, like be open, be big, and like he'll make those opposite things where you do that too, like the kind of like, which I love, like the anti-charisma, because it's like the new it's not the charisma you've seen watered down a million times, you know. I love that when somebody does everything wrong and you're like, fuck.
But they're so well. It's like you do a good. I think even to you saying with the cancel thing, I don't know. I kind of prefer, like I tell the kids this. I like the kids who get in trouble and fuck up early because it shows they have like no fear of that. Because a lot of times if you hit a point where you're always doing well, once you do hit something or you hit a wall like that, people just give up. You just give up. Versus someone who's like, oh, it's just this. Or like, oh, what did I do? And knowing how to respond to it. So it's like, it sucks now, but it gives you a better muscle later. Like even you saying like the 6 months, thinking about time as you get older, 6 months ain't much of a long time. But it's super long when you're like living through it because you're like, bro, what the fuck? This is like half of my life right now waiting. Yeah. So it's like, it's the perspective part. But yeah, the bombing thing is funny because I do that same thing of just being like,
it just happens naturally. Like you want to fit in, you want to be liked by your peers, and it's like, because I grew up in Florida. Like if I went back to Florida, I would just probably.
You're also a kid in India, right? For a little bit, so it's like you don't have much of a like connection in the same way people would assume traditionally.
Well, yeah. So. And it's also just like once you've been around that level of poverty and pain and destruction, and people are living out of huts made of cow manure and taking like showers in rivers full of shit, and like
manure. Also that river is gross as fuck.
Yeah, but then it's like you get to America and it's like, oh, somebody said something that triggered you, and now your whole week is ruined. It's like oh my god, if you just knew like the level of starvation and like thirst and people just like on the side of the street, like, and not even drug addiction. It's just like literally no choice of their own. There's simply not enough food. Like they're just anorexic, just dying. And it's like the things that we take such a big deal over in America is just so, it's almost laughable. It's like it's
the anxiety of the end. Everyone has an anxiety of getting to the end. They're like, I got to get to the end to know what it's like. It's like spoilers are so important for people. It's like we don't know how to be present with the things because we're worried about all the pieces to get to that thing.
Totally. I gotta go. Okay. We gotta wrap up on that.
Okay.
I know we should do another one though because it's like
this was fun.
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah,
hell yeah. Thank you. Also, Aidan, good shit.
Thank you. Y'all
you got here funny.
I know.
I was like, hit the phone call. I'm like, this is the most different pod ever. I'm like, hell yeah.